dog didn't touch him.
I don't care what your position is.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. 20-year-old Yusef DeBall is suing Michael James for medical bills and punitive damages from a dog attack.
Order. All rise. Yeah, that's case number 120 on the calendar, the matter of DeBall versus James.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. DeBall, you were delivering some medicine to the defendant's home.
Yes.
You were working independently. You were making deliveries for a pharmacy that you don't work for weekly.
He's my friend. He's the owner of the pharmacy.
That's not what I said to you. I want you to listen carefully.
Okay.
I said you don't work for the pharmacy on a weekly basis.
No, I don't.
You were making a delivery to the defendant's house.
Yes.
For whom was the medication?
It was for me.
Have you used this pharmacy before?
Never.
First time.
I didn't
Why-
use them. My dermatologist uses them, and I wanted him to use my pharmacy.
I don't care.
Okay.
It's of no import to me
Okay.
whatsoever. Call the pharmacy, ordered a prescription.
Yep.
Okay. When had you been to the dermatologist?
Just a few days before this occurred.
And do you know on what day the dermatologist called the pharmacy?
No, I do not.
How were you notified that the dermatologist called the pharmacy?
The pharmacy delivery man called me,
Just a second. The pharmacy called you.
and said, "We will make your delivery."
We're going to go back. On what day were you bitten by the defendant's dog?
September 26th.
On what date did you go to the dermatologist? Well, I'm going to wait here as long as it takes.
I don't have that date. I didn't know I needed it, but it was a few days before the 26th, probably around the 22nd or 3rd,
And you went to the dermatologist for what reason, Mr. James?
for a rash.
Now, I've been to the dermatologist numerous times in my life. If I go in for a rash, the dermatologist gives me either a prescription or a sample. I assume you went to the dermatologist and the dermatologist gave you something.
Nope.
So you don't have a very good dermatologist, because if you went there for a rash and it took 2 or 3 days for him to call in a prescription, I would change my dermatologist. You understand where I'm going, Mr. James?
I understand.
Okay, you don't look like an unintelligent man. If you go to a dermatologist for a rash and the dermatologist gives you nothing but says, listen, I think it'll just go away, stop eating peanut, and then I assume that you had to call your dermatologist and say the rash is getting worse? Come on, Mr. James, you know where I'm going.
I know.
Okay, so you know where I'm going. Let's get there faster than slower. You went there on the 22nd,
Well,
23rd. You went for a rash.
Yeah.
You went for a rash. The doctor didn't give you anything.
Nope.
And then what happened?
Then the delivery man,
No. Something happened before the delivery man, because you're not a fool. If I went to a dermatologist and I didn't get a prescription the next day, I would call the dermatologist and say, listen, I didn't get the prescription, or are you calling in a prescription for me? Do you want me to come back and get a prescription? The rash is getting worse. Something had to happen between the 22nd and the 23rd and the 26th, not just a call from a pharmacy.
I offered to pick it up. And he said, no,
James,
they'll call you for delivery.
Mr. James.
Sounded strange to me.
So just a second.
Okay.
Did your dermatologist say, I'm calling in a prescription to XYZ pharmacy, and they will call you when it's ready?
Correct.
On what date did you get a call from XYZ pharmacy that the prescription was ready?
Probably on the 25th.
That was a couple of days after you had been to the dermatologist.
Yes.
Did they already have your address?
Yes.
You were given the prescription.
Yes.
At what time or evening?
PM.
And I'd like you to tell me what happened when you were delivering the prescription. Stop shaking your leg.
Okay, at first we was planning to go to the gym together.
Listen to me. I don't care what you were planning. I want you to tell me what happened.
What happened when I get there?
You got the prescription.
Yes.
You drove there or walked?
Drove there.
And
Okay.
parked the car.
Yes. And he told me, he told me already, he's gonna leave the check. He saved it on the door and leave the medication.
He's going to leave a check taped on the door.
Yes.
Now, I want you to describe the door to me. Is there a porch? Do you just walk up to the door? Is it a
It's
private
like a
house?
screen, and you open the screen door and go to the door.
So it's a private house.
Yes.
Do you have to walk up a porch?
I'm just a little to get the check and leave the medication there.
You didn't answer my question. Is there a porch?
It's not. It's just
Are
like
there
a screen
steps?
No, no steps.
You just walk straight into the house. So you have to open the screen.
And go to the door.
Did you open the screen?
Yes.
Was there an envelope attached to the door?
It was.
Did you take the envelope?
I took the envelope.
Then what happened?
And then before I put the medication at the door, the little kid, 4 years old, opened the door and the dog came out and bit my hand.
Who is a 4-year-old that lives in your house?
It's our grandson we're raising.
And what kind of a dog do you have?
Great Pyrenees.
So a small child opened the door. Had you rang a doorbell, you had already taken the check.
I took the check and I was about to put the medication.
After you were bitten and you left the house, did you leave the house with the check?
Yes.
Did you leave the house with the medication?
It was in my hand, but he took it after.
He took it?
Yes.
So after the small child opened the door and the dog came out, Mr. James came out?
He came out after.
What did he say to you?
At first, like, he was like a little bit rude to me. And it was like, he didn't even say sorry to me. And I was like, what's...
Don't tell me a little bit rude. I'm not interested in a little bit rude. I asked you what he said to you.
Oh, he was like, are you okay? And all this stuff. That's it.
Just, are you okay? Is that what he said?
Yes.
And what did you say?
I said, yeah, I'm okay.
And what did he say?
Nothing. We just called 911 to get there.
Who called 911?
Ash called.
He wasn't there with you.
I called him. I was like, I didn't know what to do. So I called him to like tell him what to do. So he came.
Was this the first time you had made deliveries for your friend?
Yes.
So you called 911?
Yes.
Great. Sit. And where did you go from there?
I went to the hospital.
You went to what hospital?
Countryside Hospital.
Were photographs taken of your injury?
Yes.
I'd like to take a look at them. So this was on your hand?
Yes, my left hand.
And how many wounds were there, 1 or 2?
There's like one in my finger and one right here.
And they washed it out?
Yeah.
At the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And they gave you a Band-Aid?
Yeah.
And then you contacted a lawyer?
Yes.
On what date did you contact the lawyer?
After like a week after.
Why?
Because I was waiting for him like to pay the bills for the hospital, but he didn't.
Oh, did you ask him to pay the hospital bill?
We did at first. Like after I hired the lawyer, I did.
After you hired the lawyer, why
Yes.
didn't you call him before you hired the lawyer and say, listen, I went to the hospital just to make sure that it was okay, and they put a Band-Aid on it, but I have this hospital bill now that I have to pay.
'Cause I thought the
Before you
lawyer-
went to a lawyer.
Because the lawyer would get like fast and like.
No, the lawyer wouldn't deal it fast. The lawyer would get you more money. And the lawyer said, forget it.
No, he contact him.
He contacted him and asked him if he had insurance. He said he had no insurance. The lawyer said, forget it, because you had no real injuries. So did you go to another lawyer?
No, I was with the same lawyer.
But the one lawyer told you to forget it.
No, he didn't tell me to forget it.
Well, then why are you here in small claims court?
Because he tried to contact him and tell him like to pay for the bills, but he said like I'm not gonna pay for the bills, so that's why I like.
No, but did you fire the lawyer? I just want to know why you're
No,
here.
I still have the lawyer.
Well, then what are you doing here?
Because he said like he's not gonna pay for the bills, and I opened a small claim and I give it to the court.
If I give you the medical bills, are you going to continue with the lawyer to sue him?
No.
So you don't need the lawyer?
No.
Okay. Can I see your medical bill?
Yeah.
How many different doctors did you go to?
There's one bill for the doctor and the other one's for the hospital.
Outrageous. I mean, it's actually outrageous. No wonder the country is in such catastrophic state with regard to medical gouging. Did you pay any part of the bill?
Not yet.
So you understand the checks go right to these people. You understand that?
Yeah.
Just want to make that
Yeah,
crystal clear to you. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You said to him, are you okay? Now, when I have people come to my house to deliver, because my husband loves to order things from Amazon Prime, and I say, thank you very much, I'll take the package, I never ask them how they are.
And later today,
No, that I don't believe, Mr. Jackson.
My car is still at the hotel. That's
Why
why
would you
I
leave
kept it.
cash in your car?
Because I'm going back to my car. I didn't want to be overpacked. I said, I just need this folder right here. This was it.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Pharmacy clerk Yusef Dubal says he was delivering medicine when a dog owned by Michael James bit him.
How many different doctors did you go to?
There's one bill for the doctor and the other one's for the hospital.
Outrageous. No wonder the country is in such catastrophic state with regard to medical gouging. Now, Did you pay any part of the bill?
Not yet.
So you understand the checks go right to these people. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Your dog nipped him.
Am I allowed to say anything?
Sure. You can say whatever you want. Your dog nipped him. He's not going to get rich on your dog nipping him.
No, it was outrageous what he did. We're taking the position our dog didn't touch him.
I don't care what your position
No,
is.
I mean, I'm just saying, our dog didn't nip him.
You weren't there.
She was there.
No.
Not me. Not me.
No.
I was in the
Just a
back of the
second.
house.
Just a second. She wasn't there. The 4-year-old was there. The 4-year-old opened the door.
No.
4-year-old's not here. 4-year-old I can question. You have a Great Pyrenees?
Yes.
Yes. The Great Pyrenees nipped him. And that's frightening. And frightening enough for you to have said to him, sir, and I don't care what your position is, are you okay? Do you understand? Do you understand? You didn't come to the door and say, give me my medication, thank you very much. You said to him, are you okay? And they do, at least 10 times a day, because my husband loves to order things from Amazon Prime. So 100 times a week, I have delivery men coming to my door, and I say, thank you very much, I'll take the package. I never ask them how they are. Not that I don't care how they are. I care how they are. But when somebody makes a delivery, you don't say, are you okay? Do you understand, Mr. James?
Didn't happen
Judgment for the
like that.
plaintiff in the amount of $1,800. Checks go to the medical facilities. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
When I got out there, my driveway was filled with fire trucks,
He just like, he likes to lie.
dog control, paramedics, and later a policeman.
Why I'm gonna try to hurt myself? There's no reason for it.
So somebody made these calls very quickly,
Because my hand like was bleeding, and when they asked him like, is the dog has like his shot?
because you can't get all these 4 people in your driveway
He said like, I'm not sure. So we're not sure if the dog has shots.
within 20 minutes.
So I have to go to the house to get a shot and like clean it up.
I'm implying this is all set up. This is a setup.
I do afraid of dog. Like I get afraid of dog like a lot.
Oh, I want to put it to bed.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Phillips versus Jackson. Step forward.
LaVonda Phillips is suing her cousin, Rose Jackson, for the value of a car she claims Rose stole from her name.
Miss Phillips, the defendant is your cousin?
Yes.
And it is your claim she has your car.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson says she purchased the car from you, and that if, in this case, you get the car back, she wants the money that she spent in repairing the car. Do I have it right?
Yes.
Great. So this car, according to your complaint, was a 2000 Mercedes-Benz that was inoperable, correct?
Yes.
When had you purchased it?
Back in 2015, I believe.
Well, let's take it very slowly so that you don't give me any misinformation. You purchased this Mercedes in 2015. From whom?
My brother,
And what's his name?
Robert,
And when did he purchase the car?
he purchased the car from an auction.
He bought it at auction.
Yes.
When?
I don't even remember, ma'am.
When you bought it in 2015 from your brother, how much did you pay him for it?
I just paid for the repairs,
How much?
$700.
So you paid $700 for repairs. What was wrong with it?
It needed motor mounts,
So your brother gave you the car.
basically. I mean, yes, ma'am.
When did it stop running?
March of 2016.
So now we have a car that was given to you as a gift, that in order for you to drive, you had to put in $700. But shortly after you repaired it, it stopped running. Am I getting my story correct?
Yes.
Perfect.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Where's the $200?
It's in my car at the hotel, but I can go get it.
Well, but I don't want to wait for you. I wait for you to go back to the hotel. I'll never get to the gym. I won't get my nails done. Look at my nails.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
LaVonda Phillips says her cousin, Rose Jackson, forged her name and stole her car.
So now we have a car that was given to you as a gift, that in order for you to drive, you had to put in $700. But shortly after you repaired it, it stopped running. And then it sat there, not running. So far, am I getting my story correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Then your cousin and you got into a discussion, and according to you, she wanted to buy it. You said, well, take the car, see what it'll be to fix it, and then I'll negotiate a price with you, right? And
Yes.
instead of doing that, your cousin took the car and had it fixed, and now it's running, right?
Yes.
And you're using it.
My daughter.
Your daughter's using it.
Yes.
And you spent a lot of money. Where is the title to the car?
Well, we had to get a new title. I have the title.
In your name or your daughter's name?
Well, actually, we switched it to
$3,500 because you say that the deal was once she got the car running, you would negotiate a price with her on how much you would charge her for the car that you had gotten from your brother for nothing that wasn't running well, right? Now you want $3,500 for it.
Yes.
And Miss Jackson says, well, I have the car. And she said, take the car. It's not running, hasn't been running for 2 years. Get it fixed, and I'll sell it to you for how much, Miss Jackson?
She sold it to me for $500.
$500.
Yes.
Well, sounds reasonable. Did you pay her the $500?
I paid her $300 of it.
You did, in cash?
In cash.
And tell me when.
That will be in July the 7th. I gave her $200 initially, and then on July the 12th, I gave her another $100. And later on, I tried to give her the rest of her money, and she wouldn't take it.
Okay. Did Miss Jackson make 2 payments to you in July of last year?
No.
How much did she give you?
She gave me $100 in April, and then in July, she gave me another $100.
That's $200.
Yeah.
So you say instead of her giving you $300 in total, she only gave you $200.
She gave me $300 in total, but it...
$300 in total?
Yes.
So according to you, Miss Jackson, you owe her another $200 for
Yes.
the purchase of the car.
Yes, I do.
Right.
Your Honor, I didn't mind giving it to... Okay.
Take it out. Where is it? Where's the $200?
Actually, it's in my purse. Excuse me, ma'am. It's in my purse.
You have it in cash?
Yes, I do.
Go get it.
It's in my car at the hotel.
No, that I don't believe, Miss Jackson.
My car is still at the hotel. That's why
would you
I
leave
kept her.
cash in your car?
Because I'm going back to my car. And seriously, in my purse, I didn't want to be overpacked. I said, I just need this folder right here. This was it.
Okay. Miss Phillips.
But I can go get it.
Well, but I don't want to wait for you because
Okay,
I have things to do this afternoon. I have to get to the gym. I have things to do. I have to get my nails done. I wait for you to go back to the hotel. I'll never get to the gym. I won't get my nails done. Look at my nails.
Yes, I understand. See?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
You owe her another $200 for
Yes.
the purchase of the car.
Yes, I do.
Where's the $200?
It's in my purse.
You have it in cash?
Yes, I do. I can go get it.
Well, but I don't want to wait for you. I wait for you to go back to the hotel. I'll never get to the gym. I won't get my nails done. Look at my nails.
Yes, I understand. See?
No, you have no case. She's going to give you $200, and then you're finished. You got a car for nothing. You had to have it repaired. It was dead for 2 years. She had it fixed. Now you have it. Now you have it. She has it running. That she paid for to have it running. Now you want $3,500 for it?
No, that is not it. I came here for forgery. That
For what?
before she paid me my money, she took my car out my name.
Oh, well, go
That's what I'm very
That's what you're here for?
Yes.
That she forged your name?
Yes.
Well, go to the police. We're done.
Okay.
I'm finished with you.
Thank you.
Judge Judy. I love you.
Parties are
Perfect. Love you.
excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I ain't ever tried to keep her money, and I won't ever do that. That's just not the type of person I am.
I don't have a comment.
It don't sit well with me that she's accusing me of that because I'm not that kind of person.
I don't have a comment.
The title from DMV, when you buy a car, you switch names.
She stole the title
I don't know. She probably missed me. I don't know.
out the glove box.
I'm gonna always love my cousin. That's one thing for sure.
I just do not. No, I disagree.
So this was a lesson for me.
A tenant they couldn't evict.
When was the last time you paid rent? She's a hustler.
And the animals
You have dogs?
Yes.
that should have left with her.
These dogs attacked me without really barking anything. They just jumped on me.
A smaller dog bit you.
Yes,
Where?
on my foot. I had to go to the ER, get my shots. She never came up to apologize.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jerry Napolitano and his girlfriend Elke Koch are suing their former tenant, Michelle Dominic, for car damage and a dog attack.
Order. All rise. It's case number 160 on the calendar, the matter of Napolitano Koch versus Dominic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The party's been sworn in. You may be seated.
I'm going to start with you, Miss Dominic.
Yes,
You are the tenant of the plaintiffs, is that correct?
that's correct.
How long have you been their tenant?
I believe since April.
April from them.
It's the bottom half of the property. It's a cabin.
It's a house.
Yes.
Not an apartment.
No.
Before you lived there, where did you live?
Briefly in Reseda, but before that it was Tehachapi and Bakersfield.
Just a second. Immediately prior moving in with them, where did you live?
Reseda.
With whom?
Roommates.
For how long?
3 months.
Prior to that, where did you live?
Tehachapi.
How long did you live there?
7 months.
Who were your landlords there?
I didn't have one.
Who were you living with?
My son, since my separation.
An adult son.
Yes.
Prior to that, where were you living?
In Bakersfield with my husband.
For how long?
My whole life.
So when you and your husband separated, you went to live with your son?
Yes.
Then you went for 7 months, then you went to live with roommates?
Yes.
Okay. Who do you work for?
I do not work.
How do you support yourself?
I am disabled.
When was the last time you worked?
I briefly worked the beginning of this year for a couple months, trying to see if I could go back to work.
What kind of work?
At a grocery store.
Does the government send you disability?
I'm Social Security.
When was the last time you paid rent to the plaintiffs?
May?
So you moved in April.
Really?
Don't. Shh.
Oh, yeah. I never saw
Just a second. Don't irritate me. Let's say the last time you paid, and they're currently trying to evict you,
Yes.
and you're not paying rent. So you're a squatter.
No.
Yes, you are. You're a squatter. That's exactly what you are. When you live in somebody else's property and you don't pay rent, you're a squatter. When you lived with your son, I assume you weren't paying rent, but he's your son. Are you related to these people?
No.
Well, then if you live in somebody's property, you have to pay rent.
I agree.
You agree, so why don't you pay rent?
Circumstances happen.
Just a second. There are no circumstances that happen. You moved into a property knowing you couldn't afford to pay any rent, and you didn't pay rent, and now you're putting these people through the process of having to evict you. They have to spend money, they have to spend time, they have a property that they wanted to rent to somebody because they needed extra money, otherwise they would, you know, make a gym out of their cabin. I mean, what kind of person is that?
I was able to pay the rent.
Just a second. You only lived there in April. You paid April's rent. And then you didn't pay in May, you didn't pay in June, you didn't pay in July. They're trying to evict you. You're still not paying. When do you have to go back to housing court?
I've never been to housing court yet.
So do you have a date?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you have a date?
She already missed that date, Your Honor.
What was the date?
Oh, God.
She's a hustler.
No.
She's a hustler.
Sorry, I'm not. ma'am.
Oh, absolutely. You're a hustler with them. You made 3 roommates, but you certainly are a hustler with them.
May 31st, Your Honor.
And I've
Here's the
never
filing.
received it.
Here's the filing paper, May 31st.
What was the first court date?
The court date for the eviction
Yes.
hasn't been set yet. The court hasn't set a date for that.
Yeah.
No, she already missed that date.
Yeah.
By not showing up. Oh, no, she didn't miss the date. She never responded.
What is your last name? Are you Napolitano or Koch?
Yes, Your Honor. Napolitano.
Mr. Napolitano, let's try just to answer my questions. We get through the day much quicker, and I'll be much happier. Was there a court date? That's either yes. No, Mr. Napolitano. That's either yes or no. Was there a court date?
Yes.
What was that court date?
I don't know.
Well, if you don't know, how was she supposed to know?
Well, it was on the papers that she was served with, and
Oh,
I
you
don't
don't
know
have a copy of
because
those?
after she didn't respond, there was no reason to go to court.
Do you have a lawyer who was helping you with this eviction process?
Yes, I'm using the document people. They're
Just a second. Document people.
paralegals.
Listen to me. If you ever want to get rid of her, get
Thank
a
you.
lawyer. That's not what your lawsuit is about. I wish it was. I wish I could issue an order just throwing her out of your premises. If I could, I would issue an order to the marshals to pack her up and move her out, because I think it's disgraceful when somebody purposely moves in strangers and squats there and knows that the eviction process, because there are so many squatters, is going to take 6 months, and then you're just going to be so happy to get rid of them, you're not going to bother with them. Just get them out of my premises. You forgive 6 months' rent. She's smiling. She knows the drill.
No.
Of course.
Okay.
No, ma'am. You're wrong.
Show me your rent for May, June, and July.
I didn't.
You didn't pay it. So you moved in April, and you gave them money in April, and not since, unless you can show me proof.
I didn't bring it.
Well, if you weren't coming to the beach today, you were coming to court today.
For this?
No, you were coming to court today. You bring everything, concerning everything. Now, you have dogs?
Yes.
What kind of dogs did you bring to their premises?
I brought my pit bull and a wiener dog.
Which dog bit whom?
The little black dog bit her. The big dog knocked her down.
You're Miss Koch.
Yes.
Do you live together?
Yes, we do.
Is he like this all the time?
Worse.
It can be a little demanding, yes.
Okay.
I am not sure how she described the black dog. I don't know what kind of a breed it is.
She said it's a little black dog. She called it a wiener dog, which means a dachshund.
Okay.
Okay. Would you tell me when that dog bit you?
Yes, it was on the day before. I was outside in the morning to water the plants, and her gates were right next to where I was taking the water, the hose off the wall, and all of a sudden, the gate jammed open, and these dogs attacked me without really barking anything. They just jumped on me.
Is there a gate separating... Shh. Let me finish the question before you answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a gate separating your property, where you live, with Mr. Napolitano, who's annoying the heck out of me? Is there a gate in between your property where you live with Mr. Napolitano? That doesn't seem to bother you when I say you're annoying me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were talking to me. I was trying to find the pictures of it for you.
No, I'm talking to you. I didn't ask you for a picture. I'm asking her a question. Is there a gate separating the property where you live and the property that she was living in?
There's now 2 gates. Initially, when she moved in, there was only 1 gate. And at some point in April, the dogs did escape through that gate. So Jerry Napolitano insisted that she would secure her entry more with another gate. That morning, I went outside there. They managed to open or squeeze through both gates and viciously attacked me.
Were you on your property?
I was on his property.
And the smaller dog bit you?
Yes.
Where?
On my foot. It happened that the pit bull kind of pushed me. I lost my balance, landed on my back, and the black dog had no other reason to attack me. So
May I see it?
I had to go to the ER, get my shots, and had it x-rayed. The tendons were all swollen. It got infected, and I'm emotionally so upset now. I cannot...
When did you see her afterwards?
When?
When did you see her after?
Never. She never came up to apologize.
How did the dogs get back onto her property?
It happened that Jerry came to help me, and then he pushed the dogs back into her area and closed the gates, and then he brought me upstairs to do first aid on my foot.
And you haven't seen her since?
No. No, she never had the decency of even answering my emails when I asked her to.
Did you send her an email?
Yeah, twice.
I'd like to see it.
It's right here.
She also said she had insurance.
Mm-hmm. It's all in there.
Yeah.
She never responded to you?
No, ma'am.
Your email address is 15. Is that your email address?
Yes.
That's either yes or no.
Yes, it is. And I've gotten plenty from... I've got one.
Just a second. I don't believe that you never received the email.
Okay.
Don't believe you. I don't believe you about a whole bunch of things.
Obviously.
Obviously. There's a good reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good reason that I've been here for 23 years. Because you're a hustler.
No, ma'am.
Oh, yes, you are. You're a hustler. You're living in somebody else's property, eating their dinner, and not paying for your food. No, listen to me carefully. Yeah. You go into a restaurant, you eat a steak, you pay for it. Mm-hmm. You're living in somebody's property, you're not paying rent.
And I want
that
out.
Makes you,
Trust me,
that makes
I want
you
out.
Well, then get out. Just a second. Then get out.
Trying.
You're not trying.
Yeah.
All you have to do is get out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your son threw you out.
No, nobody threw me out.
Well, then you can go back to your son if you can't afford rent.
I don't want to move back to Bakersfield. Thank you.
You don't like to live in Bakersfield with your son? Get a job.
And later today...
He was very nice to you. The car broke down. I can't get a driver out today. That's pretty shoddy work for somebody who's been in business 15 years.
Your Honor, that was during my investigation process.
Below me.
Real cases, real people, Judge Judy.
Jerry Napolitano and girl Michelle Dominic owes for damaging a car and a dog attack.
Now, your roommates threw you out. You went to live with your son. Your son threw you out. You found another place to live. Go back to your son.
No, nobody threw me out.
Well, then you can go back to your son if you can't afford rent. Go back to your son.
I don't want to move back to Bakersfield. Thank you.
Yeah, listen, when I was 24 years old, I wanted to live in Manhattan. I couldn't afford living in Manhattan. I lived in Brooklyn. That's where I lived. You don't like to live in Bakersfield with your son? Get a job. I don't want to hear about the dog crate. I'm not interested in the dog crate. Judge him for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. We're done.
Your Honor. Excuse me, step out.
Listen to me. We are done.
Oh.
Feel happy, Mr. Napolitano.
Thank you.
Please are excused. You may step out.
He has been trying to be very controlling.
She's got all of her rights, but I can't do anything.
I hope I can get out very quickly.
Move. Yeah, please move. Go have a great life somewhere else.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hang versus Clemenson. Step forward.
Ming Hang is suing tree trimmer Arnold Clemenson for damaging his porch when he cut down a tree.
Mr. Clemenson, what is your regular line of work?
I'm a tree trimmer, Your Honor.
Someone else.
I work for myself.
What's the name of your company?
Leaning Trees Tree Service.
The plaintiff hired you to cut down a tree in his backyard.
Yes, Your Honor, he did.
You went and gave him an estimate?
Yes.
How much was the estimate?
$1,500, Your Honor.
How much money did Mr. Hang give you?
$1,000.
That was before you started the work.
That was after I dropped the tree.
Well, you dropped the tree on what date?
April 21st, Your Honor.
So you had completed the work if you dropped the tree.
No, I completed the work when I came back a week and a half later and picked up the debris.
And on what date did you return?
Approximately a week and a half later, I would say April 30th, I believe.
How come there was a 9-day lapse between...
There was about 2 feet of snow, and we had to wait for some of the snow to melt before we could get the truck in there.
All right, Mr. Hang, this is what your lawsuit is about. Your lawsuit is that Mr. Clemenson dropped the tree, and in the process of dropping the tree, part of the tree fell on your back porch, and that caused damage. So that's really what you're suing for, the damage to the back porch.
Yes. Yes.
And Mr. Clemenson is countersuing for the balance of the job, which is the $500, because he says he came back a week and a half later and cleaned up the rest of the debris. So I want you to tell me about April 21st, when he came to cut down the tree. Do you have photographs? Do you have a video? You have something from me? You have a video.
Ma'am, I have a video.
Great.
Here's some photos.
Mr. Hang, when the tree was cut down and you allege this damage to the deck and siding, did you discuss it with Mr. Clemenson?
Yes.
Can you tell me about the conversation?
I said to him that, you know...
Don't make it up.
Okay, yeah, I don't. I'm not.
Good.
I said to him what about the tree falling, the damage I've seen on my deck, and I was asking when he would come back to actually finish the fixing of the deck and pick up the brushes.
And what did he say?
He said he would be coming back within a week or so. He would take $1,000 first and $500 after he's done with the job.
What about your damaged deck?
He did mention that he was going to fix it within a week after the brushes are being picked up, and then from there we just had texts going back and forth.
I'd like to see the texts.
Okay. There's some of that.
Mr. Clemenson, after you gave him one excuse after another for not coming back to finish the siding, asking him if he's got an extra piece of siding that you could match, and then you would take care of the broken patio. That's what you said.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When you make a mistake, you're supposed to say, I made a mistake, I'll fix it.
The day that I dropped the tree, there was no damage to the deck or to the house.
Then you're the worst businessman. I don't know how you're still in business, sir.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ming Hang says tree trimmer Arnold Clemenson damaged his porch when he cut down his tree. Arnold is countersuing for unpaid work.
Okay. Then you said to him, If you want to keep the $500 you'll owe when I'm done and fix it yourself or have somebody else do it, you can do that too. So that acknowledges from you, Mr. Clemenson, that the damage to the deck and the siding were as a result of your negligence. That's number one. Number two, he was very nice to you. He said, you know, he's having a birthday party. Could you please come out? The car broke down. I can't get a driver out today, April 27th. God, he worked for somebody who's been in business 15 years.
Your Honor, that was during my investigation process. When
No. Baloney. Don't go there. You make yourself look more foolish. You don't want to make your company to look more foolish, do you?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Well, when you make a mistake, you're supposed to say, I made a mistake, my fault, I'll fix it, and do it. Not an investigation stage.
Well, Your Honor, the day
Here we go.
With all due respect, Your Honor, the day that I dropped a tree, there was no damage to the deck or to the house, and I have video evidence of that right here.
I would absolutely love to see it. Then you're the worst businessman. I don't know how you're still in business, sir. Because
tree climber, Your Honor.
you say to him, do you have any siding left over? Or I'll have to match up the piece the best I can.
Well, I know
can
what
put
I
a
said,
neat
Your Honor. I was
piece on
trying
the
to set
snug-
him up and catch him in a lie. That's why I said all those things. Because I had personally inspected the deck and the house, and there was no damage to it the day that I left. A week and a half later, I get a text saying that there's damage to the house, I'm not paying you. So in my investigation process, I tried to figure out how in the world
Just
this
a second,
happened.
April 25th. Hi, Ernie, just wondering when you guys will be back to finish off the rest, because I'll be doing my daughter's birthday party on May 6th. And you say we'll finish it up by next week to match it up the best I can. Then April 27th, you say to him, okay, but I can't get a driver over. It'll have to wait until next week.
Your Honor, that was the debris of the tree. We were talking about that because he had a daughter's birthday party. They needed the tree picked up.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay.
She was apparently balanced pretty well.
Yeah, I was nervous. For sure.
That's awesome.
Bird, you want to play it one more time for me?
Sure. She was apparently balanced pretty well.
I can see the bottom of the deck and the siding where he says it's damaged right over in the corner. Mr. Hang.
Yep.
Would you walk over to the picture? Point out to me where it's damaged.
Right here.
Right there.
Yep,
That's
right here.
exactly where
And
it looks like it's damaged.
The door steps is right below here.
Did you have it fixed?
I have not yet got it fixed.
Do you have an estimate to have it fixed
Yes, I
in the
do.
siding? I'd like to see it.
I have an estimate for my lawn damage, too.
I'm not interested in your lawn damage.
Okay.
Just for the deck and the one piece of siding. Plaintiff in the amount of $1,750. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
The judge made the right call.
It is what it is. She's a nice lady.
It's a good thing I was home at that day that happened.
I was investigating, telling him some things that he wanted to hear just so I could try to catch him in a lie.
Make sure you don't hire people without any license.
No, I didn't catch him.
I'm happy with that.
Take a lot more pictures, definitely.
Josh, for whatever reason, lost his temper.
A tenant's shocking tantrum?
He took out a knife and he chopped out the entire internal lighting system of my kitchen.
Did you call the police?
No.
Or a landlord hoping to spark a payday?
Josh had a temperament that would go from sullen to very explosive at times.
I don't understand why a man who's sane would have a nut living in their house for 5 months.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
22-year-old Joshua Garver and his father Gerald are suing Joshua's former landlord, Jason Wiseman, for the return of rent and a security.
Order. All rise. It's case number 132 on the calendar, the matter of Garver versus Weissman.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Who rented the room? That would be you. Your first name is?
Joshua.
You are?
Gerald, his father.
How old are you?
22.
When did you rent the room from the defendant?
June 1st, 2017 through March of 2018.
And you want your security deposit back?
Correct.
Including rent.
I didn't ask you anything. You want your security deposit back?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Did you have a lease with him?
I did, Your Honor.
That went from when to when?
1 year, so it would have been June 1st, 2017 through May 31st, 2018.
You moved out early,
Correct.
so you broke the lease.
Your Honor, I had first learned that Mr. Wiseman...
No. My question is, you had a contract.
Correct.
You moved out. Unless you paid rent for April and May, you broke the lease. Did you pay the rent?
We paid the rent.
Fine. So you did not break the lease.
Correct.
Good. Now, I'd like you to tell me, Joshua, what happened to you in either February or March?
Mid-February, I believe it was the 16th, I was driving
To go
when...
to school?
Yes, I was attending college.
And what happened next?
Driving down, I had slid off the road and wrecked my car. At that point, I had already been...
Just a second. Were you injured?
Thankfully, I was not.
And?
I had already been concerned over the property.
I don't care what you had been concerned about. Your concern is not of a concern to me. February 16th, you had a car accident and wrecked your car. What happened after that? Did you get another car to go to school?
At that point, I realized I needed to find an apartment within walking distance to the school.
So after you had the car accident, you wanted to move closer to school.
Exactly.
Did you find an apartment closer to school?
I did.
When did you move in?
Mid-March.
Where did you live between mid-February and March, mid-March?
I spent a week.
Where?
1 week was in a dorm room. A friend let me stay in his dorm room.
1 week. Well, now, was that in February or March?
That was February.
Was that right after the accident?
Yes.
So that was the week after the accident. You lived in a dorm room.
Yes.
And then where did you live?
My father brought me a car.
Just a minute. So your father got you another car.
Correct.
That was the second week after the accident.
I believe so, yes.
And then where did you live?
At that point, I had already found...
That's in February, so that would have been the fourth week in February.
Correct.
The fourth week in February, you lived with whom?
I had spent some time back at the property because I now had transportation.
So far, we're doing fine. Got it?
Yes.
So the fourth week in February and the first 2 weeks in March, you lived at the apartment until you found accommodations closer to campus.
Correct.
On what date did you move into the new accommodations?
I believe it was March 13th, Your Honor. We have it written down, though.
Great. And then you paid rent through the end of your lease.
Correct.
How much was your security deposit?
$475.
How much was your rent?
$475.
Now, the plaintiff moved out of his room that was rented in your home. You had other roommates.
Yes.
How many others?
3.
So you had 3 other roommates. He rented a room.
Yes.
Do you rent or own the house?
I own the house.
You did not return, despite the fact that they paid rent, so they're not in breach of the lease. You did not return his security deposit. Do you want to tell me why?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Josh had a temperament that would go from sullen to very, very explosive at times. I got a call from one of the other tenants that
Don't
he had
tell me
lied-
what. Don't tell me what anybody else said to you,
Okay,
sir.
don't worry.
Do you live in the house as well?
Yes.
Return his security. Put your hand down. I want you to tell me why you didn't return his security deposit. The why has to be because he either breached his lease by not paying you rent, which clearly he did not. He paid his rent, despite the fact that his father would like to have the rent back. And I understand that, Mr. Garver, but you're not entitled to your rent back, and you're not entitled to the rent back because your son moved because he wanted a place closer to school, just as long as we understand that. This is all about security deposit.
If I could just say...
I don't care whether
Okay.
it's legal, whether it's illegal, whether he should have had him there, whether he should have had tenants there. I don't care.
Okay, I see.
Your son lived there and chose to leave because he wanted to live someplace more comfortable and closer so he didn't have to drive. That's the reason he moved. He didn't move because of untenable conditions. He didn't move for any other reason other than that he had an accident. That's why he moved when he did. And I know that because for 1 week he lived with a buddy, according to him, but then he went back to stay at his apartment for 3 weeks. Do you understand? Until another place was ready. So you have to show me why he doesn't get his security back. Okay, Bird, he's going to show me.
Remember, Josh for whatever reason, lost his temper. He took out a knife and he chopped out the entire internal lighting system of my kitchen. He ripped and tore it out and yanked it out of the walls. He admitted in the text there of that.
Okay. This was in November of 2017.
Yes.
So he vandalized your home.
Yes.
Did you call the police?
No.
No. Did you seek to get a protective order?
No, I didn't.
Excluding him from the house? And he lived there in November and December and January and February and part of March.
Yes.
Well, if somebody took a knife, sir, because they were having a mood swing, take your hand out of your pocket. There's only one attitude here, it's mine. If somebody took a knife and cut all the wires in my house, a tenant, my first call would be to the police to have him removed, because that's nuts, right?
Exactly.
And?
And I didn't because I knew that the lease lasted so long, and either way, he had agreed to repair any damage that he did. He signed 2 agreements that any damage that he had done to the house, he would have to take care of.
I'd like to see them. I'd like to see the, I'm not talking about the initial lease. Don't show me the initial lease. Are those agreements after he did the damage, acknowledging he did damage and saying, I will repair them?
That's when he moved in, he agreed any damages that he did, he would take care of.
No way. Show me where he acknowledged that he caused this type of crazy damage and agreed to pay for it. Not before it happened, after it happened. Because I don't understand why a man who's sane would have a nut living in their house for 5 months.
Yeah, after the text where he admitted doing that, I sent him a letter saying, this is improper behavior, you're going to have to take care of this. His explanation was that the lighting system was melted and malfunctioning, and I said, if you had a problem, per the lease, you're supposed to come to me.
Very good. You have to give him a security deposit back. What else?
Well, he ripped the entire communication system out of the kitchen. And
what you're talking about, sir, you're describing a vandalism. And I'm saying to you is if I had a tenant who, as a result of mood swings, which is what you're alleging, vandalized with a knife, which is the first thing that you showed me, the first call that I would make are to authorities to have them removed from my house, because I'd be afraid of what else they were doing. Right. That's not what it was about. What else do you claim that he did to your house?
Well, the lease that I'd gotten, I thought the proper thing to do was to wait till his lease was up, and then ask for the
good here. Counterclaims dismissed.
Can I show you a few of the items?
No.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I was doing everything that I thought was right.
I'm happy we have the return security deposit.
Don't let crazy people move into your house.
Make sure the property owner is renting legally and will not threaten eviction.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bonaparte versus Judas. Step forward.
Whitney Bonaparte is suing her ex-boyfriend, John LaJudas, for the theft of a Corvette and for abandoning his dogs.
Miss Bonaparte, the defendant was your boyfriend, and you lived together for a period of time.
Yes.
He left.
He left on April 11th.
On April 11th, how long had you been together?
We had been living in the same house for 6 years.
And based upon what I read, Mr. LaJudas, you left without saying a word. You figured that
yes,
it was better that way. But when you left, according to Miss Bonaparte, you did 2 things. You took some property that belonged to her that you had made gifts of during the course of your relationship. So you took some property, but you left her the dogs, your dogs.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why did you leave her your dogs?
Because of my medical reasons, and I was going through depression, and well, to take them.
So because you were depressed and anxious, you left the dogs. She doesn't want. But you took other property that you acknowledged that you took that's disputed. Tell me what property you took with you.
Well, I had a few cars.
So, just as you had a few cars?
Yes.
So the cars didn't make you anxious? Having a few cars didn't make you anxious?
They were in storage, Your Honor.
What cars are they?
They're a Trailblazer, a Corvette, and a Jeep.
And those were all in storage?
Yes, Your
Are they
Honor.
all registered in your name?
They're not registered on it's all open titles.
What does that mean, open titles?
Open titles mean it's not registered to no one.
Well, every
They
car...
weren't never registered. I got them, and I never registered them.
Just a second. How did you get them?
I bought them, Your Honor.
From whom?
From places. One of them was from a friend of mine. The other 2 were that I bought from from the street.
I feel like I'm on an episode of Sacha Baron Cohen.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He gave me a Corvette.
Just a second. He bought it from Craigslist in order
And gave
to
it
get
to me for my birthday.
Okay. What else? I'm finished with your birthday present Corvette.
And later today,
You personally are not permitted. That's because
I got pulled over without insurance.
that's not the reason.
Okay.
That's baloney.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Whitney Bonaparte says ex-boyfriend John LaJodas stole her Corvette and abandoned his dogs.
Now, every car has a title.
Correct.
Unless they're stolen.
They're not stolen, Your Honor. I have the titles for them.
Well, then what happened to the titles?
They're misplaced, Your Honor. I don't have them in my possession.
Where are the titles?
What it is he buys cars, he fixes them, and then he resells them. So what it is it's an MV50. You don't register it. What you do is
I don't
the
care.
titles
I don't care
aren't
if you
in your name until after you sell them.
Listen to me. I understand that you don't have to register a car unless you're going to drive it.
Yes.
But there's a title to a car. The title follows the car. If I purchase a car from Officer Byrd, he has a title. I don't have to register the car. I could put it up on blocks and never register it. But you get a title. The only time I can think of that you don't get a title is if you steal it. Byrd, I'm sure that there are other ways to get a car without a title. Sometimes a car is sat. What?
The MV50, you don't get a title. What it is, in an MV50, once you do all the repairs, you turn it into motor vehicles in New York State, and they issue you a title after you do all the repairs.
You have to get the car from somebody who owns it.
They just give you a bill of sale, and with the bill of sale, once you do all the repairs, you go to motor vehicles, you bring motor vehicles, the proof that you did all the repairs, and they issue you a title.
How do you know all of that?
Because I was with him for 6 years, and he gave me a Corvette. And I know that I needed my paperwork, and the only way I could get it is for all the repairs to be done, and then for him to give it to me to go to motor vehicles.
Did you spend any money for repairing the Corvette?
The Corvette is still sitting where it was because I couldn't get any keys to it.
Just a second. So the answer is there was never a title to it. He bought it from Craigslist in order to get...
And gave it to me for my birthday.
Okay. What else? I'm finished with your birthday present Corvette.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
You're not allowed to own a car. You're not allowed to drive a car. So you bought a car anyway, and you drove it. And then you parked it at some point. There's a fly that is not going to be living much longer.
real cases, real people. Judge.
Ex-boyfriend John LaJodas stole her Corvette and abandoned his dogs.
Now, you want him to take the dogs back?
They're his dogs.
Just a second. Do you want him to take the dogs back?
Yes, they're his.
What kind of dogs are they?
American Bully and King Corsa.
Okay. When are you going to pick them up?
At this point right now, I cannot take care of them.
Well, then, Miss Bonaparte, he cannot take care of the dogs. Do you want to keep the dogs?
I'll keep the dogs as long as he supports the dogs until he's able to get them. His dogs are really attached to him. I'm talking about, like, I have a video of his dog crying to be to him.
He doesn't want them.
He does want them. He doesn't have a place to live, he said, where he can't have them.
So what do you want from me? You're not getting the Corvette. What do you want me to do with the dogs?
When he gets a place to live, he can take them, but he can pay for them.
That's it. I'll prepare an order. I would suggest that you support them. We're done here. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
We'll be friends for life.
She's a good person.
He is a person that took me through a hard time.
We'll try to be friends again, you know?
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Charday versus Hammert. Step forward.
Phyllis Charday is suing her former friend, Shannon Hemmert, for selling a car that she paid for.
I'll tell you what your problem is.
Okay.
You are not permitted by law, you personally are not permitted by law to own a car in your name.
Right.
And that's because, why?
I got pulled over without insurance.
That's not the reason. That's not the reason.
Okay.
That's baloney. It's a lot more than that. Because if you get pulled over without insurance and you don't have insurance, what they do in every state is they say, show me proof of insurance when you come and pay the ticket for not having proof of insurance. If you show them proof of insurance, they either make you pay a fine or not. But you don't lose the right to own a car. Now, you want to start that again with me? You can't own a car in your name because...
The only thing I know is that I didn't have insurance when I got my ticket.
When you got how many tickets?
This was the first one with no insurance. I have priors from 2002.
So you have more than one offense?
Yes.
Okay, whatever. You're not allowed to have a car. So you bought a car anyway, and your friend agreed to put the car in her name and still let you drive.
Yes.
And you drove the car, which I'm telling you, not a smart thing to do. Because now you're liable for anything that happens with that car. You do understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Because even if you have insurance on the car, if they find, they're going to disclaim because she's not permitted to drive a car. You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so that's not pretty smart of you. In any event, you're not allowed to own a car. You're not allowed to drive a car. So you bought a car anyway, and you drove it. And then you parked it at some point. There's a fly that is not going to be living much longer. Hmm? I like this one, actually. I like this one better.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So then when the car was parked at your house or something, your grandson took the car, allegedly without your permission, got pulled over, and the car was impounded.
Yes.
And since the car was in her name, she was able to get the car out of impound. She had to pay money. How much did you have to pay to get it out?
$161.25.
And then she took the car and sold it.
Yes.
And you want me to help you?
I'd appreciate it.
That's not happening.
So I'm just out the money?
You are.
Okay.
Courts aren't going to help you. If you start out by breaking the law, because there's a valid reason, which you're not telling, but if your infractions were such that you not only weren't allowed to own a car, but you weren't allowed to drive a car because you had no license.
Right.
And you did anyway. And what you're asking a court to do is to say, well, despite the fact that you were breaking the law, I'm going to help you. Courts don't do that. Not this court. This court doesn't do that. Now, was it nice of her to sell the car to somebody else? Not really a good friend. But what would have happened if your grandson, instead of getting pulled over, hurt somebody in the car? They would have taken away everything she owned, right?
Right.
So you got what you deserved. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
There's nothing I can say.
Well, I'm the happiest person there ever was, probably on Judge Judy.
I put out all this money and she profited off of it.
I told her to come get her car, paid my impound fee, she did it, so she lost.
She took your car.
Yeah.
How did you get her keys?
Lack of communication kills a friendship.
She got angry at me and threw the keys. She said, I'm taking a plane, and that's when she left me there with my suitcases and the keys to her van.
And her message still isn't getting through.
I can hardly understand you.
Am I talking too fast or quiet?
Both.
I know, I really mentally try to slow myself down, but it doesn't.
Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jessica Baldwin is suing her former friend, Jennifer Russ, for stranding her in another state when she stole her van.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 87 on the calendar, the matter Baldwin versus Russ.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Baldwin, you and the defendant were friends. According to what I read, you either won or were entitled to a Carnival cruise.
Yes.
From what?
From the Elite Players Group, the casino.
And from that, you won a cruise for 2 people?
Correct.
When was that?
March 26th was the cruise.
And you and Miss Russ were friends?
Correct.
Who invited her along on the cruise. The cruise itself was taken care of, as well as the meals. All she was supposed to take care of were her own incidental expenses. So far, correct? Now, you live in what state?
Missouri.
And you had to pick up the ship in Florida?
Correct.
You and Miss Russ were driving?
Yes.
How long did it take you to get there?
We left Thursday night at 11 p.m., got there about 10 a.m.
Whose car did you take?
It was my car.
Is it a van?
Yes, it was.
How many cars do you have?
I have 3 total.
Was this van that you were taken owned by you alone?
It belongs to my husband and I.
I'm asking you those questions because her defense seemed to suggest otherwise.
Okay.
Okay. So you took your van, drove there, you went on the cruise, and during the cruise, you and Ms. Russ, according to your complaint, had an argument.
Correct.
Did you share a room?
Yes, we did.
How far into the cruise did you have this argument?
I was on about 4 days in of the 7-day cruise.
How come your husband didn't go with you?
We have 2 toddlers, and I had asked her to celebrate our opening a tattoo shop together.
So 4 days into a 7-day cruise, and then for the last 3 days, you didn't speak?
Correct. Or when we did, we had an argument.
Was it over something silly?
Yes.
Like?
I had approached her with wanting to do a promotion for when we were opening the tattoo shop, and she wasn't happy with that. So she walked off very upset, and every time we talked after that, it was an argument.
Do you still have the tattoo shop?
No.
That was scuttled after the cruise?
Yes.
Anyway, when your cruise was over, according to you, you disembarked the ship and pick it up from there.
I had walked out customs and set my belongings down and waited for her to come out because she...
Explain that to me. She took your keys 2 days earlier.
Correct.
How?
It was hanging around a lanyard on the wall, and I had gone out to actually call my husband because we were fighting, and I was upset. And I came back, noticed the key was gone, approached her the next morning about it, and she told me she took it because she was afraid I would leave her there.
Anyway, you went through customs and?
So I get through customs. She comes out, throws her belongings down, tosses the key at me. I put it around my neck, go to pick up my belongings to go to the shuttle to pick up the vehicle. And as soon as I bent over, she yanked the lanyard back off of my neck and told me, "Hell no, you stupid, you're not leaving me here." And then I walked off because I didn't want to get into a fight in front of customs, and crossed the way to go over to the shuttle. And then she got into a taxi and left.
And she took your van?
Yes.
Forcing you to take a flight home, to do other things, which is what you're suing her for.
Correct.
Go.
She's crazy.
No,
Like,
just a
I'm
second.
sorry.
Just
Okay.
your version.
All right. Well, you got to start somewhere, though, and that's, like, kind of setting the tone for, like...
Let's go back.
Okay.
Because I can hardly understand you.
Am I talking too fast or quiet? I can do this.
Both.
Slowly. My best. At least for a few seconds.
First of all, let's start out with the van. You made an allegation that the van doesn't belong to Miss Baldwin.
Correct. And the reason I feel that is as we were discussing how we were going to get to the cruise, my Mustang, the tread wasn't good enough on the tires to take all the way down to Florida. And since she had enough vehicles, she said we could take her van that she's been hiding at her father's house so that the people that own it, the title to the vehicle, can't find it, so it won't get repossessed. And so she had been hiding it there at the time.
So she was hiding a van at her father's house that she wanted to take. You indicated in your answer that what Miss Baldwin did was let you put the van on your insurance.
Correct.
Did you do that?
She did it while I was driving, and we were able to do it.
She put the van on your insurance?
Correct.
What's the name of your insurance company?
Safe Auto. I have like showing that her van isn't under my name and that I am the owner and that I don't owe the previous owner any money for it. So that's why I felt safe driving it.
I'd like to see what you have.
Here's the... Oh, careful not to scroll too far.
Why this van is insured by her insurance company?
I don't know, because I had insurance through Geico.
Now, what's the name of the company that holds the lien on the car?
It's CPS, Consumer Portfolio Services.
If I were to have you call CPS, which is an easy thing to do, would they tell me that in March of 2018 you were behind in payments?
Yes.
How many months would they say in March of 2018 were you behind in payments?
Like 3 months. We were pretty behind at that point.
So that makes me believe that I believe her. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay. So you were hiding the car at your father's house because they were going to repossess the car. Have they since repossessed the car?
No, and we were...
Just a second now. It's been 2 months since the trip. Have you made up all of the payments on the car?
No, I'm still working on it.
The answer is no. And how many months do you still owe on the car?
About 4.
Could be 5.
Could be.
So it could be that you haven't made any payments on the car since you were on the cruise.
Right. I've been out of work.
I'm just letting you know, Miss Baldwin, that they're entitled to their van back.
And it's parked at my home.
Well, it wasn't parked at your home in March.
Correct. We were
just a second. It wasn't parked at your home in March.
No, it was not.
Yeah, you were hiding it. Okay, van, because you knew that the rightful owner of the car was trying to take it back for non-payment on the payments. Whatever it is, if you have 3 cars and if you can't afford a 3rd car, then you let one go. Okay, now let's get back to your story. So now I know where we're at. Go ahead. So you went on the cruise.
Correct.
You put the car under your insurance.
Correct.
Went on the cruise and you had an argument with her.
Correct.
Now I want you to tell me what happened when you got off the cruise.
Okay. When I got off the cruise,
the 2 of you.
We had stepped onto land and we had our suitcases. We hadn't spoken at this point. The only time that we had spoken is whenever that morning I had sent her, when we woke up, I asked her what time we were departing. She told me we could either depart at 7 or at 9, depending on whether they want to take our luggage or not. I said, well, I think that it would be a good idea to leave at 7 because it's Easter Sunday and I wanted to be at home for my children. And she, so I did wake her up and let her know that I think it would be a good idea to leave at 7. So whenever I got down to the level of the boat where it was time to debark, I sent her a message and let her know what level I was on. And so at this point, she had been accusing me that I was trying to leave the ship without letting her know. She was saying that I had her van keys at the time and that I had...
What were you doing with her van keys? Be very careful.
Okay.
At that moment, did you have her van keys?
No.
Do you know where her keys were?
Off the ship whenever she was still angry.
How did you get her keys?
She threw them at me when we got off the ship. I have no idea, like, what you're looking for here.
Explain that.
She got angry at me and threw the keys. She said, I'm taking a plane, and that's when she got in the taxi and left me there with my suitcases and the keys to her van. And I tried corresponding with her from that point on, and she wasn't corresponding at all. I let her know when I made it to the van. I didn't know where the van was. I had to find it.
You have those texts?
I do, yes.
I'd like to see them.
You have my phone.
Oh. Right. So I do.
Which text are you looking for? I'm so sorry. There's a lot of stuff
pulled up right here.
She has it. Maybe we shouldn't. She probably might have edited it. She impersonated a police officer at one point, and so I don't know if I would trust her evidence. Sorry. Actually, if I may, I just remembered what you wanted. I don't know why she would be so willing to offer her evidence.
I can't understand a word that you say.
Is it fast still? I know, I really mentally try to slow myself down, but it doesn't happen because it goes so fast. I have evidence that you're looking for. And I don't know why she would supply hers when it's incriminating her.
There's no question.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It appears through these texts that it got a little handsy with each other.
I'm sorry, it did not get handsy. That word is actually stressing me out and irritating me with that term, handsy.
And later today,
I don't believe that she agreed to call it even with the U-Haul rental for a day and Josh. I actually believe her that you wanted to help so that he and his brother could move into the house. So I don't believe you.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jessica Baldwin says, former friend Jennifer Russ stole her van, leaving her stranded in another state.
Okay, I read all of the communication between the two of you. Not everything is a court case. You and your girlfriend went on a cruise. You took one car. There was clearly an argument. There was an exchange. I don't feel safe about driving home in a car with you for 20 hours. It appears through these texts that it got a little handsy with each other.
Yes.
Which is unfortunate.
I'm sorry, it did not get handsy. That word is actually stressing me out and irritating me with that term. Not that you provided the term, but that she did, and I've been dealing with that word for 2 months. Handsy.
She had to get the car out of the parking lot.
She did. She paid the parking.
She had to pay the parking. She had to pay for whatever gas it was. You took a plane home. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She's just crazy.
I know I am. A little bit, you know.
She left me stranded in Miami.
Like, that's what she did to me. And so I like how she turned the tables on that.
Not go in league with people who need to be on heavy medication.
I really thought that she was a good person, and we really don't know anybody.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Johnson versus DeLong.
Step forward.
Brittany Johnson is suing her former friend, Angel DeLong, for the value of a sectional couch and patio furniture, as well as punitive damages.
Ms. Johnson, there are two parts of your lawsuit. One part of your lawsuit is that your friend, Ms. DeLong, bought some used furniture from you. You were moving into your mother's house?
Correct.
Is that right? You were
Correct.
selling your house. You sold her a couch and some other stuff that she didn't finish paying for. With regard to that, she acknowledges that she didn't finish paying for it, but she says that she helped you move. She got a truck and a U-Haul, and her boyfriend helped you move. So you told her to forget about it. You were even. And there's a second part of your suit. Who is this? Josh. That's what I figured. Stand up. Second part of your lawsuit, which is really not a lawsuit, and you rented the house.
Correct.
To Josh over here, who
Correct.
is the boyfriend of the defendant.
Correct.
You don't live with him.
No.
And you rent Miss Johnson's house.
Yes.
Do you pay rent
I do.
every month?
Yes. He did not pay for June, ma'am. She gave me an eviction notice on May 18th.
Okay.
So, no, I didn't pay.
Okay, and when are you leaving?
I'm looking for a place now. It's hard to move in a month.
Did you pay rent in May?
Yeah.
So
I
why
paid on
did-
the 5th.
So why did you evict him?
Because they were actually smoking in the home, and the agreement was that, I was actually planning on selling my home.
Okay, I got it. All right, I don't want to know. Listen to me. Josh.
Yes.
You have to pay rent if you live someplace. It's like going in to buy and ordering a tuna fish sandwich, eating it and say, I didn't like it because it had mayonnaise.
I was current until she gave me the eviction notice.
I know, but she gave you an eviction notice for a reason.
And I'm looking for a place now. I don't want to rent her house anymore.
Great, good. Sit down. I'm not dealing with this. That has nothing to do, as far as I'm concerned, with her. The only thing I'm entertaining is the furniture. Okay, you bought the furniture for how much money?
We agreed on $800 in January.
Okay, and what did you purchase? A couch?
It was a sectional.
Okay, and what else?
That was it, just a sectional.
And how much did you give her?
I didn't give her anything.
And you took possession of it?
Yes. I paid for the U-Haul, got my brother's truck, as well as got help from Josh to move her, that we would call it even with the couch.
Okay. So how many days was the U-Haul rented for?
I rented the U-Haul for 1 day.
How much was it?
$54.74.
Which I gave her money back for that, Your Honor.
Did you?
I did. Yeah, the agreement was, because I actually had to work until 7, and the U-Haul place actually closes at 6. So the agreement was for her to rent the U-Haul, and then I would just give her the money, when we came back. And she actually offered to help me move, to help Josh move in faster, because his previous living situation had changed, and he actually had to be out.
How did it change?
Because the landlord at his previous home was not paying the mortgage, so it was going under foreclosure, and she
So he
actually
had to
got the
move
water
in.
turned off. So they were living with no water.
Who's
so,
the they?
Him and his brother.
Not true. That's not true. We had water. I don't know what she's talking about.
Well, Angel told me they didn't have water. So.
Stand.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Ma'am, that's not my text messages. Like, I can put your phone number in my phone and put Angel's name as a
I know that.
contact
She didn't write
and have you send messages.
Listen to me. I know that you can do that, but this came from you.
Judge Judy.
Brittany Johnson says former friend Angel DeLong stopped paying on furniture she was buying from her. Brittany also claims Angel damaged some of it.
Now, on what date did you move into the plaintiff's house?
April 1st, I want to say.
And what happened to the house that you and your brother were living in?
Like she said, the landlord, she just wasn't paying the bills, and it went under foreclosure.
You owe her for the couch, $800.
We agreed on $1,500, ma'am.
Show me.
I have text messages as well with $800.
Well, take a look. Get them.
They're not for me. You can look at my phone. They're not for me. I would not sell that furniture. It's very nice furniture, Your Honor.
Miss Johnson, just show me the agreement. She says $800. You say almost double that. Okay, so Mr. Long, let me tell you this. I don't believe that she agreed to call it even with the U-Haul rental for a day and Josh. I actually believe her that she gave you back the money for the U-Haul, and I believe her when she says that you wanted to help, and Josh wanted to help her move out quickly so that he and his brother could move into the house as quickly as possible. So I don't believe you. Now, starting with the fact that I have determined that I don't believe you, that you didn't give me a truthful answer, I want you to make sure that what I'm going to look at here says that she agreed to sell you the couch for... Okay, now I got it. So It was sort of halfway in between. You originally wanted $1,500 for the couch. And then you agreed to take $8.
No, that did not come from my phone.
And then you had a kerfuffle, probably because of Josh, and you said to her, you want to turn into a phony, nasty name. I'll show you two can play that game. I want $1,500 for my couch like I had originally wanted, and Josh can get out of my house. I did this as a favor for you, and now him and his brother.
Ma'am, that did not come from my phone. The evidence that I showed you, that was just a couple. That was a couple.
That came from your phone.
Ma'am, so she could have put any number on there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, just because it says Brittany doesn't mean that's not my number. I've never mentioned $800. The evidence that I showed you with the agreement that was actually just a couple weeks ago.
Listen to me. I said you came up with a different figure that had to do with something else, whether it was carpet or something else, but you had an original figure. Oh, yeah, you did.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. JudgeJudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay.
Ma'am, that's not my text messages. Like, I can put your phone number in my phone and put Angel's name as a contact
she didn't write
and have you send messages.
Listen to me. I know that you can do that, but this came from you.
It did not come from me.
Who else moved you?
It was me, Angel, my mom, and then one of my uncle's girlfriends.
What about him?
He actually helped Angel move the furniture over to her house. He's never moved anything over to my mom's.
I rented the U-Haul at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. She didn't get off till 7. Me and him loaded that U-Haul from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 7 when she came home.
He did not help move anything over to my home.
Okay. Do you have your patio furniture
Yes, I actually did get that back. So basically, the whole...
No, basically, I just asked you a question. Do you have the patio furniture back?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't want, listen to me carefully, and you don't want the sofa back because you say she let her dog sit on it.
Right, which I
Good.
have.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $800. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I think it was fair.
I don't think it was fair.
It was the $800 that we agreed upon.
We agreed on $1,500.
Drama.
It all started out of jealousy. Her boyfriend was texting me about the house, and she made it very clear that she didn't want him to text me.
There is no friendship.
Pick your friends very carefully.
When we met, they were not together.
Yeah, cut in, Your Honor. I don't want to hear from you.
A jealous ex driven to rage?
She rammed the back of your car twice, according to you.
Now she better proceed with caution.
During the same incident, Miss McKinney kicked your car.
The driver's side door. Your Honor, that's not true.
You want to say something to her?
Don't interrupt the judge.
Perfect.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
22-year-old Brianna Williams and her father, Lewis, are suing the ex-girlfriend of Brianna's boyfriend, Fantasia McKinney, for damaging her car when she kicked it, harassment, and emotional distress.
Order. All rise. It's case number 146 on the calendar in the matter Williams versus McKinney.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat.
Your last name is Williams?
Yes, yes.
You are her?
Dad, her father.
And the car is in your name?
Yes, ma'am.
But you weren't present that day?
No, sir. No, ma'am.
Okay, so I don't actually need you standing up next to it.
Yes, it's my boyfriend, Jeffrey.
Okay, Jeffrey, I'm going to ask you to stand up next to Miss Williams. This used to be your girlfriend?
Yes.
And you have 2 children together?
Yes.
And you are her?
Father.
You're no longer a couple. How old are the children that you have together?
My son, he's 5 years old, and my daughter, she's 4 years old.
Did you and Miss McKinney ever live together?
Yes.
Until when?
Until, I would say, 2016, like earlier that year, just for like a month.
You lived together for a month, or you lived together?
Yes, just lived together for a month in 2016.
Your Honor, that's not true. He was staying with me for like months at a time, off and on.
Off and on is not a family. Off and on is sort of ridiculous.
As well, he was staying with my family, with me and my parents before I was in my own residence. So he was there like for about
Not like. He wasn't there like anything.
He was there for 6 months,
And then?
And then we moved to my residence, and he was there with me for a year and a half. And then
full-time?
Full-time, ma'am.
Full-time. From when to when?
I moved back from Lafayette, Indiana in June of 2015.
Just a second. You went to Indiana from where?
I was living with my family in I'm sorry.
I'm living with my family.
I was living with my family from June of 2014, and then I moved to Lafayette, Indiana.
Who lives in Lafayette, Indiana?
I had my own residence there.
And where was he living?
He moved with me.
To Indiana?
Yes, from my
Is that right?
No, that is not true. I resided as well in my own apartment in West Lafayette.
Ma'am, that's not true.
You had your own apartment there?
Yes, in West Lafayette.
Why would you move to Lafayette?
I actually went to Ivy Tech Community College in Lafayette, Indiana.
So you went to school there?
Yes.
Why did you move?
Can I?
Why did you move there?
I was pregnant with our first child, our son, Jeffrey Jr., and I got a place out there.
Well, I mean, why did you move?
I moved because I wanted to get my own place and get out of my parents' house.
How far was it from your parents' house to Lafayette, Indiana?
It was an hour-and-a-half drive.
Well, that's a long... Getting your own place is one thing. Getting your own place because he's going to school there is something else.
Ma'am, that's not true. He was not physically going to Ivy Tech in Lafayette, Indiana. He was going online, doing online courses.
Just a second. So why did you move to Lafayette, Indiana, is my question.
I moved to Lafayette, Indiana.
There.
I got a job there, and I became an assistant teacher at a daycare center.
For how long did you work there?
I was there for a year up until I moved back this way to come closer to my family in June of 2015.
Well, then, while you were there in Indiana, you had a second child.
Right, that's where our daughter was conceived.
Just a second. So you had a second child?
Yes, Janila.
And then you wanted to move back to your family?
Yeah, I wanted to be closer to have support.
Did you move back with her to where? Is your family?
To my parents' residence.
To what?
Maryville.
Where?
To Maryville, Indiana, I'm sorry.
Did you move back?
No.
You stayed in Lafayette?
Yes.
That is not true, Your Honor.
I don't want you to interrupt.
I'm sorry.
Did you stay in Lafayette when she moved close to her parents?
Months later, I moved in with her for like a month, and then I returned back.
Months later, you moved from where to where?
From Lafayette, Indiana to Maryville, Indiana.
So you moved back to Maryville.
Yes.
So you were sort of moving along with her and your two children. Don't try to think of where I'm going. You'll never be smart enough, actually.
Oh, no, I'm not thinking that at all. I'm not thinking that at all.
So just try to be honest. Don't think about what you told her. Don't think about what you told her father. Don't think about anything else. So you moved back to Maryville. Was she your girlfriend then?
No.
When did she become your girlfriend? Month and year?
Month and year.
And say it without a like.
She became my girlfriend September 2016.
That would be shortly after you moved back.
Yes.
And when she became your girlfriend, tell me where you met her.
Where I met her?
Yes, where... don't repeat my question. Where did you meet her? That's English.
I met her with her brother.
Where?
At a school.
What school?
Me and her brother went to Indiana State University together.
Her brother and I went to Indiana State University together.
Yes.
That's what you meant to say?
Yes.
So you met her through her brother?
Yes.
In September when you started school there?
Well, I met her years prior to that, but around that time when we became together.
You met her years prior. In what year prior?
2013. January 2013.
Where did you meet her in January of 2013?
In her home.
Was that because you were friends with her brother?
Yes.
And how old are you now?
I'm 22 years old, Your Honor.
So you were a kid then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were 17. And how old are you?
27.
Okay. But then you sort of reconnected in 2016.
Yes. It was actually at my mother's house.
Now, Miss McKinney, in September of 2016, where were you living?
I was living where I stay now in Maryville, Indiana, at my own residence.
And where was he living in September of 2016?
Your Honor,
I know who I am. Where was he living? He was living with you, or he wasn't living with you?
He was there at a point, and then he went back to his mom's house. He's been back and forth over the years, so it's not really a set time.
Miss McKinney,
I'm sorry.
Where was he living in September of 2016? At your house or his mother's house? That's a question that requires a direct answer. And if you don't remember, just say, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Good. So you were living at your mother's house when you met her?
Yes.
And then you became a couple?
Yes.
Now, this is what this case is about.
Your Honor?
What?
Not to interrupt you, but me and Jeffrey have had a on
Jeffrey and?
Oh, Jeffrey and I have had an ongoing relationship since 2013, that year.
Well, Miss Williams, that would be foolish of you, because since 2013, he's made 2 children with the defendant. And Jeffrey's very fast. I mean, he goes to college, university. So actually, you don't want to tell me that you had had an ongoing on and off relationship with him since 2013, because he and the defendant were clearly involved in a relationship that you should have known about.
Yes, but when we met, they were not together.
In
2013.
I don't want to hear from you. In 2013?
Yes, when we first met in January of 2013. He had a son already, the first child.
Yes, but the second one wasn't born yet.
Right, but that she was not pregnant in January of 2013.
That make it even worse.
Is your daughter a little bit stupid?
I think so sometime.
That's all. And he's not a prize.
No.
You don't have to shout out.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
Mm-hmm.
You had an altercation recently. You're no longer together. You and this gentleman and Jeffrey are no longer together, and you haven't been together in a long time.
Correct.
You have 2 children. This incident happened on what date?
It was in October of 2016.
And so what are you doing here almost 2 years later?
I went to Purdue West Lafayette University there. I came home, actually.
I want to know where you've been for 2 years. If what you're alleging is there was an accident.
Yes.
Just a second. It wasn't really an accident. It was on purpose. You were picking up Jeffrey. You were in your car that your father owns, and the defendant rear-ended your car. Now, her insurance paid for that, right?
Correct.
Because you rear-ended her car. You say, I was excited. I saw her, and then I saw him, and she was picking him up from school, and whatever. I was excited, and I went to go this way, and I put my foot on the gas, and I hit the accelerator, and I accidentally rear-ended her. But your car was fixed by her insurance 2 years ago, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you claim at the same time, during the same incident, Miss McKinney kicked your car.
Yes, the driver's side door.
Your Honor, that's not true.
You want to say something to her?
Don't interrupt the judge.
Perfect. Now, it is possible that the insurance company, while they paid for the fact that your car was rear-ended by her, said that if there was damage on the report to the driver's side door, said, well, that was a criminal act of vandalism, and we're not going to cover her criminal act of vandalism. So why did you wait 2 years to sue her?
Well, I'm a student. I have a lot of things going on, and she also had a pending case in reference to this case in terms of her the restitution and so a few details.
Just a second.
Yes.
You had a pending criminal case for vandalism? Is my question for something? You had a pending criminal case. Miss McKinney, don't look confused. Your father's going to be annoyed.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Were you arrested for this incident?
Yes.
Did you plead guilty to resolve that case?
No.
They don't put you on probation unless you're found guilty.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Brianna Williams says her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, Fantasia McKinney, kicked her car during a fight.
Now, did you have a pending criminal case?
I don't know. Like, I had a case prior to that.
Did you go to court about this incident that happened in October of 2016?
No.
Like, no.
What were you in court about?
Well, this particular case for the accident, it did cause probationary period for 6 months.
Miss McKinney, I've been a judge for 38 years.
At least.
I know about the court system. Were you arrested for this incident? That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
Did you plead guilty to resolve that case? That's either a yes or a no.
No.
Were you found guilty? That's either a yes or a no.
No.
What did they put you on probation for?
It was for criminal recklessness, Your Honor.
Criminal recklessness involving what date?
October 24th, 2000.
That's this case.
Yes.
They don't put you on probation unless you're found guilty.
Well, it was an incident, Your Honor, and at the time...
That's not an incident. There's no such thing in the penal law. You're either found guilty or you plead guilty in order to resolve it, and you're placed on probation with restitution.
Well, it was an accident.
You're not placed on probation for an accident. Courts don't place people on probation for an accident. They may suspend your driver's license. They may say you're on a probationary period for your driver's license. You're not placed on probation by a court unless you plead guilty or found guilty. Probation is a disposition of the court, like jail. You get either jail or probation. Probation sometimes is coupled with restitution. Were you ordered to pay No.
Yes.
How much?
It was $120, Your Honor.
Did you pay it?
Yes.
Show the paper.
I have the,
Show me proof that you paid the restitution.
And the bottom one. And the bottom one.
And I have, as well, to add with that, Your Honor, I have the records to show that I don't have any pending criminal.
I don't care whether you have any pending criminal, whatever. You're not ordered to pay restitution and placed on probation unless you either plead guilty or are found guilty. This wasn't restitution. This was court costs.
That was for that case, Your Honor.
It was court costs. It's not restitution. Criminal recklessness. And this was a plea. You pled guilty to criminal recklessness. Plea agreement. That's what that says. Plea agreement. You signed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was confused, Your Honor. I was just stating that I didn't plead guilty to...
I'm not confused. Your father's not confused. You signed it. The judge signed it. You pled guilty.
Well, in my understanding, I was saying I wasn't guilty to intentionally causing the accident.
Miss McKinney, then you're very, very confused. And your father will talk to you later, because I don't have time to give you a lesson in common sense.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you see your children, sir?
No,
it's not an answer.
Me and my lawyers are in progress of going to court.
You still going to Indiana State University?
I go to North Park University in Chicago.
Take English.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Brianna Williams claims her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, Fantasia McKinney, kicked her car during a fight.
Now, you had a lawyer?
Yes, I did.
Yes, of course you did. You spoke to your lawyer. Judge allocated you, told you that you had the right to have a trial. They would have to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. You took a plea. You paid $120 in court costs, and you were released on bond, and you got 6 months deferred sentence on proof of insurance. Her insurance paid for the damage to the back of your car?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see the pictures of the car door.
The top of it, the dent.
Let me see the police report, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Williams, you didn't tell the police that she kicked the driver's side of your door. You said she hit the window and was yelling as she hit the window, "Get out of the car," and then she called you a name. You didn't tell the police that she damaged the door. I'm reading the narrative.
Yes, but I didn't actually tell the police in a sense that all the damage that...
And what you do is you bring the case within a 2-year period. This is the freshest time in your mind.
Yes.
Immediately after the incident, you carefully described exactly what she did. She rammed the back of your car twice. Yes. You said to the police she hit the glass part of your door and yelled at you to get out of the car. She called you a name. Never once in your narrative. And there was no damage to the window, so why would you say, she told me to get out of the car, and then she kicked the car door, causing damage to my car door? That should be in here. That's why you bring a case immediately. Do you see your children, sir? It's not an answer. No. You don't. Is there a reason that you don't see your children?
Me and my lawyers are in progress of going to court.
My lawyer and I are in...
My lawyer and I are in progress.
You still going to Indiana State University?
I go to North Park University in Chicago.
Take English. A couple of English courses.
Yeah.
You're 27 years old?
Yes.
Do you work?
I'm a college student working to make a living.
So my next question to you is, how much support do you pay for your children?
None.
None.
Did I hear anything from you?
Sorry, Judge.
Who's supposed to support your children?
Me and my lawyers are in progress just due to the...
Take English.
I am in progress of doing that to make sure.
I am in the process of...
I am in the process of doing that right now.
You have 2 children.
Yes.
They have to support your children, do you?
No, not at all.
What?
I graduate in December to make sure of that.
Well, it's a good thing that they weren't on meat hooks, you know, in some freezer between the time you decided to graduate from college and now, without at least contributing to their support. If you make children, you have to support them.
Yes.
Yes, good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
What? I did many times to try to settle any type of way to pay Fantasia, but she was not reasonable in any type of way of wanting to accept anything from me.
Well, Miss McKinney is angry. She better get unangry. You made 2 children with him. It's not their fault that it didn't work out. You made one and he didn't marry you, so you made another one. Not smart. And if now your father has the burden of supporting your 2 children, are you living with him?
No, Your Honor.
Who do you live with?
I live on my own.
And how do you support your children?
By working.
Who takes care of them?
Myself alone.
Well, how can you take care of them when you're working?
They go to daycare, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
An assistant teacher at a daycare.
The children go to the same daycare?
Yes.
No, I got it. We're done.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I respect Judge Judy, but I didn't agree with the decision.
I did not vandalize her property at all.
I suffered a lot of verbal abuse from Miss McKinney.
I'm left being a single mother to 2 children. I didn't ask for this.
People to honor the law and not disobey the law and try to hurt others.
It's just time to move forward.
A hot real estate market was tempting.
You wanted to go into the house flipping business.
Yes, I did.
You find houses to be flipped.
Yeah.
But the only thing building was the confusion.
You gave him $5,000 for what?
To purchase the house. He basically bought rights from me to buy this house. It wasn't supposed to be like that.
I have to tell you, it all sounds a little shady to me.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Alex Coley is suing Vlad Fedorov for the return of a deposit to buy a home.
Order. All rise. It's case number 156 on the calendar. The matter of parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Coley, this is some sort of a real estate deal. I'm not exactly sure if I follow the whole thing, but you wanted to go into the house flipping business.
Yes, I did.
And I don't know what you do. You find houses to be flipped? Is that what you do?
I'm trying to buy houses for myself, invest money in the houses, or I'm able to assign houses that I found to somebody else.
That's exactly what I said. You find houses to be flipped.
Yeah.
And when you find a house to be flipped, you sign a contract with them?
Yeah.
With the seller, or whoever has the title, whether it be the bank or anyone else. I don't know how you know each other. You want to tell me how you know each other?
I met the defendant through someone else that was like a broker. And so I met him on April this year, and he was selling houses.
I have to tell you, it all sounds a little shady to me.
Yes, it does.
I met him through somebody else. And you entered into a contract with him.
Yes, he said he had a house that was...
Said he had a house.
That he's selling.
Good. And you
so,
entered into a contract with him.
Yes, with another partner.
I'd like to see the contract. Now we have a contract. That usually makes my life easy. Who prepared this agreement?
My attorney.
I'm just asking you because number 3, which is prominent, says the purchase price is $75,000 payable by cash, a good check, or money order to the escrow. I've never seen the word good check in something. It just, as opposed to a bad check. It's funny there. It's odd. A good check.
Probably it means cashier's check.
Purchaser shall deposit in escrow as earnest money, 0. Who's Skyline Property Solutions?
It's my company.
Who's Wesley somebody? I can't read. Trustee.
That was my partner.
Your partner?
Yeah, that we were getting into the deal with to buy the house from him.
Okay, so you and your partner agreed to buy this house and bought his right to sell the house and gave him $10,000.
It wasn't supposed to be like that. What it is was we were just buying the house from him and we had to put the down payment. So the down payment was the $5,000 that I wrote a check to him.
Just
and
a
then
second.
he was going to get a $5,000 from my partner.
So just a second. I don't see anywhere where...
Right here. So, and then the $5,000 is there, and I have the payments that I wrote him a check for.
No, I'm not...
Oh, okay.
Just first show me where his signature is.
Right next to the $5,000.
There's no contract. Your name isn't on this contract. Did you sign this anywhere? It doesn't say anything. Somebody agrees to buy something. Vincent. Who is who?
Vincent is the owner of the house.
You're in way over your head. Anyway, you gave him $5,000 for what? Because this means absolutely nothing to me. You gave him $5,000 for what?
To purchase the house with my partner.
Okay. When were you supposed to close?
In 30 days, and then in 20 days we canceled.
Just a second. You gave him the $5,000 when?
On April 21st, and he cashed it.
21?
Yes, April 21st.
You agreed that you were given $5,000 as earnest money on April 21st of this year.
Yeah, I agree.
And you agreed to close property that you didn't own. Just a second. You agreed to close property with him on property that you...
Agreed with the owner that I wanted to buy the property within 30 days, or I had the right to assign it, basically sell the contract. That's what I did to him. He bought the contract from me for $10,000. $5K been paid at the moment of signing of that assignment agreement, and another $5K from escrow. That's where it's supposed to come from at the day of closing. So he basically bought rights from me to buy this house.
So he bought rights from you to buy your rights and gave you $5,000.
Right.
Now, 20 days later, tell me what happened.
20 days later, he said they have somebody else buying the house. The deal wasn't going quick enough for me and my partner. And so you can get out and we'll get somebody in and give you your $5,000 back.
So you can get out and get somebody else in?
Yes, get
out
of the contract. And then he'll get somebody else in to buy the house. So then I'll be out and he'll give me the $5,000 because the funding was taking too long. And so...
Oh, you mean your funding was taking too long?
Yes.
But on what date was that? You must have some emails back and forth.
It was 20 days later that we canceled the contract.
Show me. All you have to do is show me. Don't give me a whole lot of paper. Show me the date where he said to you, it's taking too long.
I never...
On 5/9/2018, where
I don't know what you're showing me, sir. I want to see proof that he told you that your deal wasn't going fast enough and he was going to sell the deal to somebody else.
So that was the paperwork that I received, but we did talk on the phone over that, over the fact that we weren't getting funding fast enough and there was somebody else that was coming in to buy the house. And so they told me they're going to get somebody else to come buy the house. And so that way they can...
I'm going to make this very easy because this is all...
And he doesn't even have a real estate
Just a second.
license.
Don't tell me he doesn't have a real estate license. If you wanted somebody with a real estate license, you wouldn't ask your buddy to hook you up with somebody. That smells from a scam. Now, was this house sold?
No.
Does Mr. Vincent still own the house?
Yes.
Is it currently on the market?
No.
When was it taken off the market? What month?
It must be May somewhere.
Just a second. Think before you answer. When was it taken off the market?
Officially, it's never been on the market. I found...
Just a second. Officially?
It
never been on the market?
Never.
Does Mr. Vincent live there?
Yes.
How big is the house?
1,300 square feet.
And what kind of work did you do for Mr. Vincent?
Okay. I advertised my business in Spokane, and he called me. He found me, actually, and he wanted me to buy his house.
He wanted you to buy what month and year?
April 2018.
2018. You're a scam artist. He gets his money back. You're a scam artist, probably with Mr. Vincent. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I knew he was kind of like that. He was a scummy kind of guy.
The person contacted me, and the house officially never been on the market.
When he asked me for cash in the beginning,
we agreed that I will buy the house or I will assign the house.
And I couldn't see the house in the market, and we didn't buy it. That was kind of a red flag for me.
I don't think I'm guilty. I don't see I'm doing anything wrong, actually.
I'm not gonna do this kind of deals anymore.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Gibson versus Abramson. Step forward.
Catherine Gibson is suing Harold Abramson for damages after his dog mauled her.
Miss Gibson, you were mauled by the defendant's dogs.
May 5th, 2018.
And it happened on the property that belongs to a friend of yours.
Yes,
Who is
ma'am.
that?
Her name is Cindy Weaver.
And Mr. Abrahamson, you live on Miss Weaver's property. You're the handyman?
Used to be. Yes, ma'am. I actually built the house.
Were you on May 5th, her
Yes, ma'am.
handyman?
Not a handyman. I was living on the property, though.
What were you doing there?
There's a residence in the back of the property that I live in.
You rent?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were a renter. How much rent were you paying her?
$400 a month.
How long had you lived there?
5 years.
When did you move out?
I haven't yet. I still live on the property.
And where is Miss Weaver?
She's in the main house.
Other than renting the property, do you do any work there?
Occasionally, yes, small stuff, not really handyman stuff, helping
Does
out.
she pay you for that?
She doesn't give me cash for it, no, ma'am.
Fine, so you are purely a renter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You pay her $400 a month to live in your house.
Yes.
That's where your dogs have to be.
Well,
in your house. We're supposed to keep them in control so that somebody doesn't get almost mauled to death.
And later today,
She doesn't have to pay for your child support, right? You would say it's not right for Miss Raines, who you were dating, to pay for your 13-year affair, right?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Catherine Gibson is suing Harold Abramson for damages after his dog mauled her.
Now, other than renting the property, do you do any work there?
Occasionally, yes, small stuff, not really handyman stuff, helping
Does
out.
she pay you for that?
She doesn't give me cash for it, no, ma'am.
Fine, so you are purely a renter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How many dogs do you have?
3.
What kind?
The dog in question is a pit bull Rottweiler mix.
And the other 2 dogs?
The other one is a...
Sit up. All the way up. I can hardly tell. Your pants are falling down, so I can hardly tell whether you're sitting or standing.
The female is a blue pit bull, blue Great Dane mix, 50-50. And then they have a child together, who's about 6 months old.
Now, on May 5th, one or more of your dogs attacked Miss Gibson.
Yes, ma'am.
If you're a renter and you have pit bulls or Rottweilers, you should have renter's insurance. If they'll give you renter's insurance, you're responsible for her injuries. Your dogs were roaming free. They weren't under your control. End of story. You're a renter. She was visiting a friend. They're not... That's a simple rule. You have 3 big dogs. They're supposed to be under your control.
Ma'am,
What?
I feel like they were under my control. They're on the property. This is a fenced property.
No, listen to me.
I wasn't aware if this woman was visiting.
Who cares what you were aware of? Is what you're telling me the house that you live in is fenced. Your little house is fenced. Is that what you're telling me?
There is a fenced in back, but that's not where they were.
That's, of course, because she didn't go into your property. You're a renter.
It's one piece of property.
No, sir. You're a renter. You're not a handyman. That's what you just told me. You're strictly a renter. You don't have the house back there because the house is under your control because you're taking care of it. You pay her $400 a month to live in your house.
Yes.
That's where your dogs have to be.
Well,
in your house.
Your Honor.
And if they're outside of your house, they have to be under your control.
Your Honor.
On Cindy Weaver's property is not in your control.
Your Honor.
What?
Cindy Weaver was aware that these animals
Don't tell me what
roamed
just
this
listen
4-acre parcel.
Just pay careful attention to me.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't tell me what Cindy Weaver was aware of because that is impermissible in a court of law.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm telling you, you have 3 big dogs.
Okay.
They're
What about a
supposed
conversation?
We're supposed to keep them in control so that somebody doesn't get almost mauled to death.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
What else do you think he owes you for?
Your Honor, after he got out of jail, we went on a trip.
I don't care about your trip with him. Did you sleep with him on the trip?
I did.
I don't care.
But
what's next?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Katherine Gibson is suing Harold Abramson for damages after his dog mauled her.
Now, you have photographs of your injuries?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see them. Show these to the defendant, please. I have conversations, Mr. Abrahamson, with people who act for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done.
Thank you. Parties are excused. You may step out.
I was blindsided by his dog.
I gotta say, I feel very bad for the lady because of her injuries.
Attacked me on my left side.
But I didn't ask my dog to attack this lady.
Knocked me down on the driveway.
I'm very sorry it all happened, Eddie, but there's nothing I can do. Like I said,
Went through my throat.
I didn't teach my dog to bite people.
I put my arm up, saved my life.
I didn't ask him to go bite this lady.
I'm still living it.
And let's be honest, it is more than a bite.
I can't sleep.
I feel like he had been provoked in some way.
And depression and PTSD.
Because it's not typical for him to act like that.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Raines versus Roberts, step forward.
Natasha Raines is suing her ex-boyfriend, Kenny Roberts, for bail, jail expenses, hotel costs, and rent.
Miss Raines, tell me from when to when Mr. Roberts was your boyfriend?
Me and Mr. Roberts started talking. And
Mr. Roberts and I started talking.
Mr. Roberts and I started talking October of 2016, Your Honor.
And when did you stop talking?
We stopped talking, I would say,
between October of 2016 and September of 2017. You say he owes you money. Tell me what specifically.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, between October of 2016 and September of 2017, you say he owes you money. Tell me what specifically.
Mr. Roberts owes me money for posting his bail.
Now, let's start with that because it's the only actual thing that I'm interested in. Bail. Now, Mr. Roberts, you were arrested and your bail was fixed and it was for back child support.
Well, it was the old back pay warrant from 2013 that was supposed to have been thrown out.
From child support?
Yeah, child support.
How many children were you supposed to be supporting?
1.
How old is that child?
13.
What was the amount you were supposed to pay each week?
At the time, it was $281.
Per week?
Every 2 weeks.
And how much did you owe?
I don't owe anything now. That was back in 2013. That's when
But when you were arrested in 2017.
Yeah.
What were you arrested for?
I guess the courts didn't probably dismiss the case because it was supposed to have been thrown out back in 2020 or something like that.
How much was his bail?
$760.
Now, did that bail go towards paying your back child support?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
$760 went to pay your back child support.
Yes.
So that satisfied your child support obligation. Did it or not?
Yes, it did.
Okay. She doesn't have to pay for your child support, right?
Yes. But
so you would say that's your responsibility?
Yeah, but I didn't know. I didn't know that was the case that they was going to do that. Otherwise,
I don't care what you knew. You would say it's not right for Miss Raines, who you were dating, to pay for your 13-year-old child support. That wouldn't be fair, right? I mean, it's...
No.
No. So you have to pay $760, because she paid it, right? She paid it.
Yes.
She paid it. Now, what else do you think he owes you for?
Your Honor, after he got out of jail, we went on a trip.
I don't care about your trip with him. Did you sleep with him on the trip?
I did.
I don't care. But what's next?
Okay, he also owes me for expenses while he was in jail.
I don't care about that either. What's next?
Rent. He lived.
I don't care about rent either.
Okay, Your Honor. Well, these are things he owed me.
No, he doesn't. He owes you $760 for child support. That's what he owes you. It's over. Thank you.
Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He said that he was wrongly arrested because the case was thrown out and it wasn't connecting the courts or whatever.
Well, at the time I was wrongly arrested, and she knew that. I guess she wanted to, help me out.
I felt bad for him, and he asked if I would post his bail and he would give the money back to me.
I didn't give her a set time or what time I can get her money back, so I guess she felt like...
avoiding payment and telling me that he's going to, but not producing the money.
The relationship was over with. She wanted to rush me to get her money back.
It affected it greatly.
Just a lot of her, nagging and, just...
In a way that we're not together anymore.
A lot of things wouldn't just, we just didn't mesh right.
Just know the background of, whether they're going to give you your money back or not.
Yeah, I wish I'd have been.
Lesson learned.
They spent years as close neighbors.
You had been friends?
Yes, ma'am. So I thought we were. She was a nice person, but when I got to know her, I've seen the real her.
Now, being next door is too near.
These are things that you put up, and she took them down.
Cut them down. They've been up there for 5 years. Sorry, Judge, sorry.
You've got a lot of attitude for somebody who has
I'm so sorry.
No, you're not.
She just lied
a second.
on me.
You're not sorry at all.
Judge Judy.
Room of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Minnie Sanders is suing her neighbor, Tina Edwards, for damaging her property, stolen items, the cost of a surveillance system, and harassment.
Order. All rise. It's case number 145 on the calendar in the matter of Sanders versus Edwards.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Miss Sanders, how long have you lived in your home?
For 9 years, Judge.
And how long has Miss Edwards been your neighbor?
For 9 years. She was there before I moved in.
How long have you been there?
10 years, ma'am.
It's your claim, Miss Sanders, that the defendant has been harassing you and destroying your property. When did that start?
That started, Judge, around January of 2017.
What happened in January of 2017?
The first incident was a friend of mine gave us gift cards.
Gave who a gift card?
Tina and myself. We purchased.
So you were friends?
Yes, ma'am.
You had been friends?
Yes, ma'am. So I thought we were.
So
we were neighbors.
A friend, well, not neighbors, but friends?
Yes,
because
I consider that.
If somebody brought the two of you a gift card
no.
for you to...
We bought the gift cards.
How much?
For $200.
Do you remember something about a gift card?
I don't remember. Yes, ma'am, I do.
You remember something about purchasing a gift card?
That part I don't remember.
You don't? Perfect.
I
you
just
don't
remember
just a second. You don't remember it?
No, ma'am.
Good. So do you remember it?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to tell me what happened? She doesn't remember it.
Yes, ma'am. I bought the gift cards.
You bought a gift card for $200.
One for her for $100, myself for $200.
Okay. And
I had one more card for $400. I made a mistake and gave Tina the $400 card instead of the $100 card.
Okay, for Christmas?
For Christmas.
When did you give it to her?
It was like the month of December. I don't remember exactly what date, but it was for Christmas because her kids were coming to town.
Okay, so you were going to give her $100, but you gave her the $400 one instead. And then what happened?
And I wondered what happened to the card. I looked back, and it's like, Tina couldn't have been spending a $100 card because when she bought this pair of shoes, I realized what had happened. I didn't confront her. I just kept it in my head and watched her. She bought a pair of Timberland pink boots that were $99. The next week, Tina shopped all week. We're neighbors right by there. I see every time she comes, and she comes to my door and show me what she bought. So it's like if you bought the Timberland boots, then you bought pot toys, then you bought a toilet for $100.
Okay. So you thought you had given her the wrong gift card?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have the $100 gift card?
Yes, ma'am.
So that was still in your pocketbook?
Yes, ma'am.
But you didn't confront her with it?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
All right, well, that was a mistake. If you would have said to her, then, listen, I meant to give you the $100 gift card.
But she knew. I told her I'm giving you.
Don't tell me what she knew.
Oh, I mean, I gave her $100. I was telling her I'm giving you a $100 gift card.
Okay, so it's your bad. You didn't tell her that you had made a mistake. She went and spent it. So that's what started in December of 2017.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
your recollection.
Yes, ma'am.
So what happened? That's so far, that doesn't bring us to court.
Okay. So then I told her we're not going to do any more money business together, okay? I'm not going to loan her any more money. Judge, I was loaning Tina every month because I knew she was on Section 8. I knew she was low income, and I do try to reach out and help, okay?
So you were loaning her money?
Yes, ma'am, every month. She'd pay me back.
Okay. You said that here, that you would loan her a couple of bucks, but she would always pay you back. And then?
And then I told her we weren't doing any more money business, and that's what started all the ugly stuff.
So then you said, I'm not going to lend you any more money.
Exactly.
And then what happened? You bought a purse.
Bought a purse for Tina. I didn't buy the purse for her. I loaned her my $100.
Counterfeit.
Shh, just a second.
Sorry, Judge, sorry.
I loaned her my $100 to purchase the purse. I wasn't selling the purse. I loaned her $100. When I gave her the $100, she bought the purse, and then later on she wanted to tell me it's counterfeit. I wasn't selling purses. I'm looking for my $100 back.
Next.
Okay.
I don't want to hear anymore.
Okay.
About the purse.
Okay.
On to the next thing.
That's the next thing.
On to the next thing you're complaining about with her.
Okay, the next thing is I opened my door one day, heard this noise out there, like somebody dropped a bottle or something. I opened my back door, and Tina's cutting down my mobiles off of the, I had a awning put up from her door to my door to keep the sun away. I have pictures of that if you'd like to see.
I'd like to see it.
She cut all these here down and and put a hole in my bench. And here's the bench.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you mean these things?
Yes, ma'am.
These are things that you put up?
Yes, ma'am.
And she took them down?
Cut them down.
And you saw her cutting them down?
Yes, ma'am, as over my door.
Okay, and when did you see her cutting them down?
That was in December. I mean, that was in January. I'm sorry, in
January of 2018?
2017 is when this happened.
No, it had to be January of 2017 and December of 2017.
I got the gift cards, and got the gift cards in December of 2017.
So this had to happen in January of 2018?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Okay. You opened the door and found her cutting them down.
Yes, and
What's
then
next?
I immediately called the police.
Okay.
Well, before I did that, Judge, I went down my steps. I asked Tina, what are you doing? I won't use the words I used. And she said, I got tired of looking at them. I put some new ones up. What are you doing cutting down my stuff? Before that,
Well, they've been up there for 5 years.
You know, you've got a lot of attitude
I'm
for
so
somebody
sorry.
who has
I'm so sorry.
No, you're not.
She just
a
lied
second.
on me, Your Honor.
Just a second. You're not sorry at all.
I apologize.
You're just a second. But you're not really not sorry because you haven't been able to contain yourself with the attitude.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Miss Edwards.
Yes, ma'am.
Few questions. You don't remember anything about the gift card,
I do
so I
remember
can't ask.
something. I remember the gift cards. I don't remember the amount paid for the gift cards.
Just a second. Do you remember she gave you a gift card? But if
yes.
you don't remember, you remember she gave you a gift card.
But I
You
gave her
remember
I gave her the $400 gift card back because she told me it was a mistake, and I gave it back to her, and she gave me the $100 one. She is lying.
Fine, just a second. What did you give her? Do you get where I'm going? What did you give her for Christmas?
She gave me a $400 gift card.
Pay attention.
I am.
Now you remember she gave you a $100 gift card for Christmas. She had given you $400 one.
She
said you
did.
gave it up. Speaking. You gave it back to her and said that she gave you a $100 one. My question to you is a simple one, and I'm speaking English.
Yes.
What did you give her for Christmas in 2017?
I don't
Think
remember.
careful. Okay, so let's say if you don't remember, you gave her zippity-doo-dah, nothing. Now, are you on Section 8 housing?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have sometimes trouble paying your bills?
Never.
Sometimes.
Never.
Did you ever borrow money
Yes,
from...
ma'am.
So you borrowed money from her?
Yes.
So she was a nice person?
Yes.
Just a second.
So I
How
thought.
many times... I'm speaking.
Yes, ma'am.
How many times did you borrow money from her? Would you say prior to January of 2018?
Several.
More than 3?
Yes.
Okay. And whenever you needed money, you would go to her, and she's not a psychic, so you would say, I'm a little short this month. Can you help me out?
Yes.
And you would pay her back.
Right.
How many times did you lend her money?
Never.
How many times did you lend her money?
Never.
Never. 0. So that would be a 0 Christmas present and a 0 you being a friend to her. She lent you, she gave you.
She is a liar.
Just a second. That's not somebody that you call, that's not somebody that you have attitude about, because there's really only one attitude here. They pay me a lot of money for having attitude. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So she's not a bad person. Now, if she says to me...
She wasn't then, ma'am.
She was a bad person when she lent you the money? Was she a bad person when she lent you the money?
She was a nice person, but when I got to know her, I've seen the real her. She started using my address, ma'am.
You mean after 8 years?
No, way before. In 2014, she started using my address as her fake business. I have proof of that right here.
Who cares? Did you borrow money from her after that?
No. After...
Just a second. After she was using your address, are you telling me?
No, I did not.
You didn't borrow money from
No.
her. In what year did you say to me she started to use your address?
2014.
So after 2014 is what you're telling me you never borrowed money from her?
No.
14, 15, 16, and 17. Good. Now, did she give you the Christmas present in 2017?
She sold me the gift card. She didn't give it to me. It wasn't a Christmas present. She sold it to me.
That's not what you told me a moment ago.
Yes,
you said she gave you a $400 one.
Yes,
and you
but
gave...
I still paid for the card, but she gave me the $400 card. Know it. And I never went and bought anything. And, you know, when she gave me the card and we switched to the right card, that's when I went shopping.
Did you cut down her things? That's either a yes or a no.
I always decorate the outside.
Did you cut down hers?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
This is not show and tell. So the answer is, no attitude here, my attitude.
Okay.
So the answer is, to my question, did you cut them down? The answer is yes.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Minnie Sanders says neighbor Tina Edwards vandalized and stole her property.
Okay, did you cut down hers?
No, I changed them to new ones. They was up there for 5 years. They were torn and colored.
How did you, just a second, change them? I want you to tell me, I'm looking at them here. Shh. I'm looking at them here, and I want you to tell me the method that you used to change them. Did you unloop them?
No.
From the bottom or the top? No. Did you use
I cut them with the scissors because I was going to replace them, ma'am.
Listen to me,
with new ones.
This is not show and tell. So the answer is, no attitude here, my attitude.
Okay.
So the answer is...
Not to be mean or anything, Your Honor. Yes, I did. But I was trying to make her happy.
Okay. So far, I went to law school, a little bit after law school. So far, I'm not impressed with your case. I'm impressed that you're frustrated with her. What's next?
Okay, next, Judge, I called the police. I went and called the police,
and
right. They came out, and they said I couldn't arrest her because, you know, it'd be her word against mine. So they like suggested that the best thing for me to do is get her surveillance camera. So that's what I did the next week, you know, because the manager...
Tell me what the police said. So the next thing you did, after you saw her cutting down your decorations...
Yes, ma'am, and the hole in the bench.
You got a surveillance camera.
Yes, ma'am.
And?
And she started calling the owner of the building, saying I was violating her
privacy because you pointed the security camera towards her door.
No. Oh, yes, ma'am.
And they made you take it down.
Yes.
What else?
They made me take it down.
They made you take it down.
Because she said...
I don't care why.
Okay.
They made you take it down.
They made me take it down.
The management made you take it down because you weren't supposed to put it there. What's next?
No, the management came and saw it and told me it was okay for me to have it.
Get down.
Yes, ma'am.
What's next?
Then they started sending me notices, you know, to vacate because they're steady getting complaints from Miss Edwards about me. And, Judge, I go to work at 1:30 every day. I don't miss no days at work. I'm not home until 12 o'clock at night.
Did they evict you?
No, reason they didn't evict me because I went ahead and took the camera down. They wanted me to take it down, and I took it down.
This is so far. This is not.
She
see
still
what I
has
mean? You're
one.
not.
I'm sorry.
You see what I mean?
I'm so
You're
sorry.
really not sorry.
Can I just ask you, am I going to get a chance to speak? Ma'am, please.
No, you have no counterclaim. I'm trying to see. So far, I'm not seeing a case. What's the point of you speaking if
Okay,
I'm
I'll
not
be
seeing a
quiet.
case? So far, you have no case. I want you to forget everything you told me about the gift card, about the tchotchkes hanging. I want you to forget about the security camera that you bought, that you had to take down or you didn't have to take down. What's next?
I cannot enjoy my own patio for her and her guests sitting out there. They don't sit in this chair of hers that she wanted put up. They sit right in my door and my furniture and talk about me all while they're there. And what they're going to, somebody named James, they're going to get to come over. He can take this down. He can do this to her. I feel threatened, Jeff. I mean, Judge.
Just a second.
Jeff.
Just a second. Listen
Judge.
to me. Listen to me. I don't necessarily blame you. I can tell she's a woman that has a bad attitude.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
So you made a handsome profit.
Yes and no.
No, that's neither the yes or no. You made a handsome profit. If you tripled your money, that's a handsome profit.
It depends.
It depends on nothing. You sold the property. You made a profit.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Minnie Sanders says neighbor Tina Edwards vandalized and stole her property.
She's not going to move out of her Section 8 housing. That's the best advice I can give you. You're going to have to move. You have no legal case against her. And if she's making your life miserable living there, and you're a working lady that never misses a day to work, and you go into work every day at 1:30, go find a place where you can have peaceful enjoyment of your apartment. She's not moving.
Judge, I didn't want to move. I just wanted, I was peaceful in my apartment.
What do you want me to do?
Calling me.
What do you want me to do?
I want her to stop harassing me through
Stop harassing.
management.
Listen to me. Stop harassing her.
Yes, ma'am.
And through
I've just told her.
management.
So
Yes,
ordered.
ma'am.
Stop harassing her. We're done.
Bodies are excused. You may step out.
You're not supposed to be harassing neighbors.
I'm a good person. I'm a good neighbor.
Because I found out what type of person she was.
We were friends.
I work every day. She doesn't do anything but sit home.
Guys see through.
Oh, I'm helping her, and you study downing me to people?
I saw the true person she really is.
I am a concierge. She doesn't know what that means.
I've never done anything wrong to Miss Sanders.
Because I will take this and I'm going to use it.
It's not over. Not at all.
So this is my first step.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter, Smith versus Geis. Step forward.
Lisa Smith is suing her former tenant, William Geis, for vandalism, property damage, and the cost to remove junk.
Miss Smith, Mr. Geis was a tenant of yours for about 4.5 years in a townhouse that you owned. When did you sell it?
February this year.
What did you pay for it? Stop playing with your papers.
$115.
What?
$115.
And what did you sell it for?
$360.
So you made a handsome profit.
Yes and no.
No, that's neither the yes or no. You made a handsome profit. If you tripled your money, that's a handsome profit.
It depends.
It depends on nothing. So this is what you're suing him for. You moved out when, sir?
I moved out on September 30th.
And what you're suing him for is $5,000 because you claim that he caused damage to the place.
Correct.
You have no cause of action. You sold the property. You made a profit. I'm not looking at your bills to clean up the property. I'm not looking at your bills at all. All I'm doing is entertaining his counterclaim for his security deposit back. Ridiculous. You terminated your tenancy. How much security deposit did you have?
It was $1,897.
Did you do a walkthrough prior to your leaving in
Yes,
September?
Your Honor.
May I see it?
It's number 49 on the timeline.
Have you tried to get your security deposit back from her?
Yes, I have, Your Honor, and she has denied my opportunity to receive my security deposit.
You moved out on the 30th, correct?
May I speak, Your Honor?
No. So, at worst, this is what the property manager found at the final walkthrough. Carpets had been cleaned, but should be replaced. Right. After 4.5 years, they should be replaced. That's what your property manager said.
I already took him to arbitration.
Yeah,
It's not true.
You took who to arbitration?
The tenant and the property manager. It's not
Which
true.
tenant?
This tenant.
Then what are you doing here?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
What are you doing here?
Your Honor.
Because I am the small claims court.
Well, I don't actually care about you because your case is dismissed.
His damages were...
Your case is dismissed.
You haven't even heard about the damages.
Listen to me. You sold your property for 3 times as much as you paid for it.
No. I didn't get that money. I had to pay for all of the damages out of that. The damages were over $55,000.
Listen to me carefully, madam. You're not getting any money. Not a penny. Your property manager wrote, carpets had been cleaned but should be replaced.
The carpets were not cleaned. They were full of dog urine. When I walked in, you couldn't even stand in there because it smelled so bad of dog urine.
Amount of $1,897. We're finished here.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I'm happy actually with the decision.
There's tagging on the walls.
There was no vandalism in the apartment.
The repairs were over and beyond.
I was due for my security deposit back.
That the tenant was not held accountable.
Not having my security deposit given to me when I moved out was unjust.
He was not responsible for his damages for letting guests stay in the home against the contract.
I always have a contract.
Some employee sold.
The deal was dead in the water.
He called and said this fish tank is defective. It has scratches on it.
Within one day, I called.
They sort of played around with you for a month, hoping you would go away.
Then a fishy response.
You were promised a new tank within a week, and you didn't get it.
Correct.
You should not have sent a defective tank to begin with.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Aquarium store operations manager Simon Palafox is suing customer Ronald Winston for the value of a custom-made fish tank.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 167 on the calendar, the matter of Fish Gallery Incorporated versus Winston.
Thank you, Bert.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
What is your last name, sir?
Palafox.
Are you the owner of Fish Gallery?
No, ma'am. I'm the operations manager.
Were you the one who had dealings with Mr. Winston?
No, ma'am. Not directly.
Never?
No, ma'am.
Oh, well, this is going to make this case very easy for me. Who's the owner?
Roger.
And who manages the store?
Paul.
Paul, the person who sold you the tank?
No, I bought the tank from the service manager's name is Eric, and he's the one who delivered my fish tank.
Who was Paul? Did you ever deal with a Paul?
He's the general manager in Dallas.
Did you ever speak to him?
No, not until I saw him later in the legal proceeding.
What legal proceedings?
Well, when the complaint was filed by Fish Gallery, that's when I had contact with him.
Did you ever see him in court?
Yes.
Which court?
Court in Collin County.
Is that the small claims court?
Yes.
What happened with that case?
Was not settled.
Did they send it out to be settled? What happened with it?
We did not decide settlement and mediation.
So you went through mediation?
Yes.
And then they referred it back to court?
Yes.
And that's why we're here?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. This is your problem. You don't know anything. Some employee of Fish Gallery INC, is that the name of the company that you work for?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sold Mr. Winston a fish tank. Very expensive, almost $4,000. It supposedly was a custom-made fish tank. Is
Yes.
that right? And they charged his credit card, and he paid for the fish tank. And it was delivered, and it was defective, correct?
Yes.
So you can't tell me anything, because the owner of your store and the manager of the store who dealt with him and the person who sold him a fish tank, they decided not to come and to send you out.
Your Honor, we're a small company.
You don't know anything. What you know is hearsay and is inadmissible, so that I can take all of my facts from the defendant. Do you understand? So this is the story as I get it. Sold him a fish tank, $3,800 plus, charged it to his credit card, delivered the fish tank. He called within a couple of days, is that right, and said this fish tank is defective, it has scratches on it.
Within one day, I called.
Good, within one day. And
But in their complaint, they stated that...
No, don't.
Okay.
Don't talk yourself into a loss.
Okay.
Understand?
Yes.
Good. So I'm just going to ask you a couple of general questions which don't require a hearsay response. The salespeople that you have are paid on salary and commission?
No, ma'am, they're paid hourly and commission.
Hourly and commission.
Yeah.
So they make the most substantial part of their money on commission.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So the salesman who spoke to and had dealings, who's not here, who spoke to Mr. Winston, he said, the fish tank's defective. They sent somebody out and took days to get somebody to come out there and look at it. This is a huge fish tank.
Correct.
And they said, we'll get you a replacement.
Yes.
This was on what date?
Well, I called March 29th. They delivered the tank. On March to the tank.
When did they come out?
And they came out February the 3rd, I believe it was.
Well, they can't come out before you complain. So if this was March 29th.
I mean April the 3rd. I'm sorry, April 3rd.
Okay, and then they said you would have a replacement when?
They said within a week.
So when you didn't get a replacement or hear from them within a week, what did you do?
So I followed up with Eric, the service manager, who delivered the tank.
Okay. Does he also get a commission?
No, ma'am.
Just the salesman?
Just the salesman, yes.
And to make a long story much shorter, you were promised a new tank within a week and you didn't get it.
Correct.
You ultimately, after a month, went to the store to find out where your tank was.
Correct.
And who did you meet with? What's the name of the person?
I met with Eric.
Who's the service manager?
The facility manager.
And Eric, of course they can't tell me what happened, Eric said what to you?
At first, he offered me $200.
$200. So you paid $3,800 for a big fish tank, and now they've sort of, how do you say that, non-Brooklynese? They sort of played around with you for a month, hoping you would go away. And then they said, we'll take a couple of $100 off the tank. Go away.
Yes.
And you said no.
Correct.
And then what happened?
So
right now, you in a request to the credit card company that the merchandise was defective.
Correct.
To reverse the charge.
Yes.
In the meantime, according to what he would like to tell me if he could speak, they ordered another tank.
Correct.
Do you have either tank?
I have the first one they delivered, yes.
And you're more than happy to give it back to them?
Well, right now, I don't think I should give the tank
Well,
back.
right now, let me explain something to you, because that's what their lawsuit is about, Mr. Winston. Right now, they say that they had two tanks, that they brought one to your house, they brought another one. Forget the fact that they brought another one because your service manager was disrespectful when he said, we'll give you $200 off. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
But right now, you have a fish tank that you're happy with. And if you're not happy with it, you can give it back.
And they've had ample opportunity to pick the fish tank up since...
They're going to pick it up.
Since March the 30th.
Just a second. They're going to pick it up. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to pick it up with a marshal within 5 days of today's order. Do you understand?
Yes.
Great. Because that's what we call sort of an unjust enrichment. You say, well, I really don't like the fish tank, and they did the wrong thing, but I'm going to keep it anyway and not pay for it. Forget him. He hasn't said a word, right? That's what you want me to do? That sounds reasonable to you?
No, I was just saying that, Your Honor, based on the fact that I've had the property at my location since March 20.
There was a lawsuit started. You went to mediation. All that took time. You went back to court. There had to be paper served. All of that took time, okay?
Your Honor, may I speak?
No. No. What the owner should have done of your company is send somebody who had first-hand information somewhere about this, and that's not you.
What I'm about to say is not regarding what happened before the fact. It's after the fact. When we get back a used aquarium, it depreciates value by 60%.
I don't care. So if what you're saying is you don't want this aquarium back because it's depreciated, I could do that. That means you get nothing. I don't think that Mr. Winston should be enriched by having a fish tank that he's enjoying if he says it's defective. The credit card company reversed the charges, so he really got something for nothing. Your company has to be punished because you were disrespectful to a customer. Your salesman got a commission, didn't want to lose that commission, played around with him for a month. I'm trying to figure out another way to say that. For what? Well, even that's not... Even that's not right. And then said, get rid of him because we made $2,000 on this fish tank, so we'll give him a couple of $100 on the fish tank and he'll go away. Well, he wasn't prepared to do that.
It wasn't something that was in our control, and whenever they called the vendor to try to get a new tank, they back-ordered it.
That
Once we did get it was a week later after they had spoke to him.
That's not his fault. That's your fault. You should not have sent a defective tank to begin with. Your company thought it could get away with sending a tank that was scratched, not brand new. Somebody spends $4,000 on a fish tank. They want something that if there's a scratch on it, it's a scratch that they put on it, or one of their friends or family or a kid or a grandchild put on it, but not come to them scratched. So you didn't do the right thing. So the fact that now when you pick up this fish tank, because I'm going to give you an order to pick up the fish tank if he needs a marshal to come to his house, the fact that it's depreciated in value is too bad for you. You didn't sell him a brand new one. Did you see a display model on the floor of what you wanted?
No, not of what I wanted.
Our showroom consists of display models. Everything that's on the floor gets bought by the customer there.
Just a second.
We don't have backstock.
Did you buy something that was in the store?
No, it's not in the store.
Where
it's custom made.
You ordered it on what date?
On February the 2nd.
And it was delivered on March 29th.
Correct.
Sir?
Yes.
That doesn't sound like it was in the store.
If I'm not mistaken, there's a discount off of the original price because the manufacturer offered a sale price for those custom aquariums. It being 72 inches, it's something that is custom, but yet a lot of people ask for that measurement.
That's a
when
lot.
we had those in store on
So
the
why
floor.
didn't you send it to him from February 2nd to March 29th?
When Eric scheduled it on, I believe it was March the 2nd, they had scheduled it, and then on the second paper, they moved it to March 29th from 10 to 12.
Listen to me very carefully, sir. If what you're telling me is that this was an in-stock item that you had, and if he ordered it on February 2nd, it should have been delivered to him on February 4th, not March 2nd. If what your salesman was doing was telling him that this is a custom-made tank that we have to order out for you, and in order to justify that, he held off delivery of something that you say you had in the store for a month in order to say, well, there was a custom-made tank for you, and what you sold him was something that you had in the store already, that's a little more chicanery. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
The two of you had one car.
No.
How many cars were there in the household for the 2 months that you lived together?
It's a bit more complicated.
Sir, I'm going to uncomplicate it.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Aquarium store operations manager Simon Polifox says customer Ronald Winston owes for the value of a custom-made fish tank.
Now, if what your salesman was doing was telling him that this is a custom-made tank that we have to order out for you, and in order to justify that, he held off delivery of something that you say you had in the store for a month, that's a little more chicanery. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
That's like saying, you know, we have to custom make this dress. Get the dress from the back, put it aside, hold off for a month before you send it so we could say, well, we had a custom made to your measurements, and then you get it. That's what you told it. That's what you just said to me. Do you understand that that's what you just said to me?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that sounds ridiculous. Okay, so do you want the fish tank or not?
No, I do not want the fish tank.
Great. 5 days from today's date, you make arrangements to go and pick up the fish tank.
Okay.
Then you have your property back. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's our excuse. You may step out.
Yes, there was some damages to the tank, and unfortunately, it took a little bit longer to be able to get the replacement tank.
Very happy with our decision. I don't think I received a custom-made tank. Let's verify that today.
The reason that we offered the $200, you know, to try to...
There were scratches on the glass, all around the glass, on all three sides of it.
Make up for some of the time that he had been waiting for the tank to come in.
Just make sure you do some research first before you deal with certain companies.
Yeah, definitely. We would have to talk to our salespeople, make sure we inspect products before they go out the door.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Shrek versus Mullet. Step forward.
James Schreck is suing his ex-girlfriend, Jennifer Mullet, for the return or value of a Lexus and lost wages.
Mr. Schreck, how long did you and the defendant live together?
Roughly about 2 months.
How long did you know each other before you lived together for 2 months?
8 years.
Were you dating for those 8 years?
On and off.
Did you ever live at her house during those 8 years?
No.
Did she ever live at your house for those 8 years?
Not until
This
very
period?
end. Yes.
During those 8 years, were you sort of an exclusive relationship with the defendant?
To my knowledge, I thought it was.
You thought it was?
Yes, somewhat, yes.
Okay. The case is a relatively simple one. You say that she took your car
Yes, ma'am.
when the two of you split up. She says you gave her the car.
What happened?
Just tell me what happened.
Okay.
Now, we have a car. The car is how old?
1998.
And when you were living together, how many cars did you have?
One.
Was that the 1998?
Yeah.
Which car?
The Lexus.
What year?
98.
So the two of you had one car.
No.
How many cars were there in the household for the 2 months that you lived together?
It's a bit more complicated than just...
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Listen,
okay.
You can make it more complicated, sir. I'm going to uncomplicate it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You drove the car, you tried to get it back, you sold it to somebody else. At that point, you were playing games with each other.
No.
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 Did you, in fact, sell the car to somebody else after she left?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
James Schreck says ex-girlfriend Jennifer Mullet fraudulently registered his car under her name.
Now, the two of you had one car.
No.
How many cars were there in the household for the 2 months that you lived together?
It's a bit more complicated than just...
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Listen,
okay.
You can make it more complicated,
Well,
sir. I'm going to uncomplicate it.
Okay.
When you were living apart for 8 years, did you have a car?
Yes, I've had multiple cars. Multiple different cars over the 8 years.
For the last 5 years?
Multiple different cars over the last 5 years.
When was the 1998 car purchased?
Roughly 2 months before we moved into the house, 2017.
And when did you move out of the house?
August 13th, 2017.
Were you together when the car was purchased? Together, physically together?
No.
Was it purchased from a dealer or from a private person?
Private person off of Craigslist.
Who found the car?
I did.
When you went to see the car of this private person, who took you?
Nobody. He came to me with the car.
You did not have a car at the time?
No, I had just sold my other car and used that money to purchase this car.
So the purchaser came to you with this car?
Yes, ma'am.
Came to your home?
We met at a Burger King next to my house.
How much was the car?
$1,250.
And 2 months later, you and the defendant moved in together?
Yes, ma'am.
So who did you purchase the car from?
I didn't purchase the vehicle.
He purchased the car?
Yes.
So I assumed that I can rely on what he said to me, that that's how the car was purchased?
Correct.
Okay. Now, 2 months before you moved in together, what kind of car were you driving?
I wasn't.
You had no car?
I had no car.
6 months before you moved in together, did you have a car?
No car.
When you purchased the car, did you register it?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Because it was still currently registered and...
In whose name?
The person that I bought it from.
Yes, but you're supposed to take it out of his name and put it in your name.
I understand that, ma'am, yes.
Because otherwise he's responsible for the car.
You're correct, ma'am.
I know I'm correct.
Yes. With moving into the new house and everything, I didn't have the funds to transfer the title.
Oh, well, you knew that wasn't the right thing to do.
You're correct. I don't deny that at all.
And the person that you purchased the car from let you take his license plates?
Yes, that's...
What do you mean, yes?
I've never purchased a car without the license plates.
When you purchase a car with, if somebody is stupid enough to give you the license plates, you're supposed to register the car within 24 hours and return the license plates to motor vehicles.
I've never had to ever do that here with a car.
What do you do when you register a car?
They just give you, if it needs new tags, they just give you a new tag and put it on the plates. Other than a lien sale vehicle that I've bought, and I've never had to return the plates.
Did you have insurance on the car?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Schreck, I am disinclined to help you at all.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, who has the car now?
Nobody.
Where is it?
I sold it. It broke down.
She sold it. You see, Mr. Schreck, what you're suggesting happened with your car is that she took the pink slip and went and registered the car herself and sold it.
She drove it for 6 to 8 months before she sold it.
So?
Okay. She didn't pay for the car, and his name should have been in my name.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Okay. You're correct.
Right? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I don't know when she registered the car.
4 to 5 days after she left borrowing the car.
Mr. Schreck, I'm not helping you, sir. This is the reason that I'm not helping you. When you come to court is a place of equity. You're supposed to do the right thing. Okay. And what you did was the wrong thing. You put somebody else at risk. You purchased somebody's car, and because you were busy and didn't have money, you drove around without registering the car.
Okay.
Your girlfriend at the time was just fine with that. She drove the car, and you drove the car. You were living together for 2 months. You split up. She took the car with her. Well, she drove the car, you tried to get it back, you sold it to somebody else, but you can't sell it to somebody else because you hadn't registered it yourself. You know, at that point, you were playing games with each other.
No.
No.
No. The night that she left the car.
Did you, in fact, sell the car to somebody else after she left? No, that's either a yes or a no.
I attempted to get something back from the car because I knew she was trying to take it from me.
Did you, in fact?
Yes, I did.
Goodbye, folks. You don't have the car anymore?
No.
She doesn't have the car anymore. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I did work in exchange there too that was registered to him, and I just took did what I was supposed to. That he goes about his way and leaves me alone. Do the right thing. Pay your bills. Protect yourself. Pay your bills and be accountable.
Did you send him this text?
Yes.
Odd.
Did a single mom's desperate times
I was very concerned. I offered to help her out.
call for desperate measures?
As soon as a man feels like they have power over you, they can start demanding things.
You mean the fact that he paid your rent?
Yes.
But you're texting him that you're prepared to become an escort to married men for money.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Michael Whitaker Jr. is suing his former friend, Michelle Robb, for an unpaid loan to pay her rent.
Order. All rise. It's case number 152 on the calendar in the matter of Whitaker versus Robb.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Mr. Whitaker, is your claim that Ms. Robb said that what you were was more than generous with her, even though you knew her only briefly? You knew she was in some financial difficulty, and you took care of paying up her back rent as a gift. That's what she says.
No. No, Your Honor.
I'm just telling you that that's what she says. I told you what you said in your complaint. That's what she said in her answer. So, Ms. Robb, I'm going to start with you rather than Mr. Whitaker, since in your answer it doesn't seem that you disagree with the fact that he did, in fact, clean up your back rent.
Yes.
So I'm going to find out a little bit about you. And Mr. Whitaker, how old are you?
40.
You have kids?
2.
How old?
12 and 14.
And you live alone with you and the 2 children?
Yes.
How long have you lived in the same apartment?
It was a year in June.
And you work in a bar?
Part-time, yes.
Where do you work the other part-time?
Full-time, I'm a loan officer.
Loan officer where?
Global Equity Finance.
So you work full-time there?
Yes.
For how long?
I started at the beginning of May.
Well, that's just recently,
Yes.
May of 18. I want you to tell me what you did full-time last year.
Last year was tough. I was let go from 4 different positions in the year 2017. 2 different mortgage companies that decided to close their San Diego branches. A restaurant management position that I was let go from because...
Your because and their because may be different. What else?
And then prior to that, I was a PR director for a design-build firm.
For how long?
I was there for 6 months.
So you've not had, from what I can hear, a reasonable, consistent way of supporting yourself.
Yes, that is true.
Tell me what your rent is in this apartment.
$12.95.
Do you get child support for the 2 children?
There is an order in place, however, no.
So the answer is you don't get any money.
Correct.
Having an order does not put food on the table, so the answer is no. So you support yourself and the 2 children from part-time bartending.
Yes.
How many times in the year have you fallen behind in your rent?
4 times.
And when you've fallen behind in your rent, has that been for more than 2 months?
Yes, it was cumulative.
So it's been 3 months. How many times have you been served with notices of eviction?
None.
So you always made up the rent?
One of my girlfriends is a property manager and understands my
Don't tell me what she understands. I asked you whether you ever been served with an eviction notice. You said no. My next question to you was, have you made up that rent when you fell behind?
Yes.
In bulk?
You know, it was in payments.
Now, as a part-time bartender, you're not making enough to cover your expenses, your children's expenses, and the rent.
Correct.
So you want to tell me how you do it?
Like I said, my girlfriend is my property manager, and she is lenient.
Whitaker, where?
I was doing a live stream on social media, and he was one of the followers.
Since I'm not really involved with all of that social media live stream stuff, you must have had plenty of times working part-time, so you are live streaming, and you met him in cyberspace.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
When did you meet him in person?
March, April 2018.
And when you met him in March or April of 2018, how far behind were you in your rent?
Around 3 months.
Now, you met him on social media, Miss Raub, and at some point you must have decided to meet. Where did you decide to meet?
At the bar that I part-time at.
So you told him where you worked?
Yes.
So you invited him to come meet you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at some point you were having a chat with him, and you had to have told him, because it's not something that otherwise comes up in conversation, I'm 3 months behind in my rent.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me where that took place.
I don't remember if it was in person or phone conversation or text.
You don't remember? It wasn't so long ago. I'd like you to remember. And if you don't remember, just this is what happens if you don't remember. If you don't remember, then I'm going to ask Mr. Whitaker.
Okay.
And then I'm not going to hear you say, oh, now I remember. So if you don't remember, tell me. If you want to think for a moment, tell me. Otherwise, I'm going to ask him.
I want to say it was conversations on the phone. We would text each other every morning, and for a while there, he was coming to the bar every Saturday, so it could have been a combination of all three.
Well, during that period of time, did you have an intimate relationship with
Absolutely
Mr. Whitaker?
not.
Did not?
No.
So it was a friendly relationship?
Yes.
So what I'm asking you is, with a man that you don't know, that you've just met on the internet, who you do not have an intimate relationship with, I want to know how you approach the subject of getting your back rent paid.
I want to say we were just talking about finances, just, you know, I had just started the new job at the mortgage company, and I think we were just talking about finances, just my life, what, you know, as a single mom, what I'm up against right now. And I honestly don't remember how it exactly came about.
You want to tell me?
Yes.
Very good. Gave you your chance.
I want to make one quick correction to what Michelle had said, which we only talked on we didn't talk on the phone daily. We talked on the phone maybe 2 times over the period of time. We did meet a couple times.
Who is this?
This is someone I'm dating. Her name is Lisa.
Well, what is she here for?
She's here because she was the one after the fallout of all this was able to put together that, Mike, you just got scammed.
You needed her to tell you that? I don't know why you brought her. That's sort of ridiculous. Where do you come from? What state?
We came up from San Diego.
So you're in California. It wasn't such a long ride. We didn't have to pay. Now, I'm back to the conversation.
Okay, on June 18th, I received a text message from Michelle stating me and I have...
I said, don't... You received the text message. I'll look at it. Did you send him this text?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take it back. Odd.
Our relation.
I see this. This doesn't talk about rent.
I have another thing of text that talks about how financially hurting she was.
Okay. Well, what it's suggesting is you're willing to do whatever is necessary to get money, even if it's something that you hadn't done before. That's what these texts are suggesting, and suggesting it to a friend with whom, according to you, you hadn't been intimate. Get to the rent.
After seeing that, I was very concerned.
Where were you? Were you on the phone? Were you in person?
We were texting. I was in my car driving. I believe she was probably in her car driving.
You were texting while you were driving?
I have Android Auto. I can voice text with it.
I'd like to see the texts.
I don't have all the texts of us talking of the rent. The next group that I have for you is her saying that she 3 different ones that on 3 different occasions she said she would pay me back. I do have this one, Your Honor, that was part of the texting back and forth about paying the rent and her thanking me and saying that this situation was turning her tummy.
What triggers are we talking about?
I have often found that when money and men, when it becomes a power struggle. It happened with my first ex-husband. As soon as a man feels like they have power over you, they can start demanding things. And I felt in this situation that the monetary piece of the puzzle was his power over me.
You mean the fact that he paid your rent?
Yes.
You know, I don't necessarily disagree with you. that if you're a woman and a man, whether it be a boyfriend or a husband or a boss or anyone else, pays you, gives you an allowance, as they did if there's a certain control. But you're texting him and suggesting that you're prepared to become an escort to married men for money, which clearly puts the question of control and power in play. And here you have somebody with whom you had a friendship, and clearly within 4 weeks of meeting him, telling him what dire straits you're in, that you're prepared to do all kinds of things that are inconsistent with who you are in order to make money, and he gives you money. What is he supposed to think? What's he supposed to think? You say in your texts back and forth to him that you would pay him back. That's what you say. Yes, of course I'll pay you back. What you say is, I'll pay you back. And your response to him, why wouldn't I pay you back? And then you start talking about these trigger things, these triggers, these controls. Well, now that's your excuse. Your excuse is, he triggered these bad memories for me about control. You triggered me twice. My trigger's my issue. I will work them through on my own. It appears that we will no longer be friends, Mike. I will reach out to you when I have money for you. Those are your words. So you told him you would pay him back. What's the issue? Why are we here?
It was almost just a placation to get him off my back at that point.
You would pay him back. How much did you pay her rent?
Right here it shows evidence that shows I paid her $4,900 plus the fees for processing it. I have my bank history here. I have another one that shows that she's already 2.5 months behind on her rent again. And this one right here actually shows that she did make a bulk. She did make a $3,000 bulk payment a month before she hit me up for money.
You're still accessing my account?
You gave me your password.
But listen to me. Miss Raub, sometimes you pay the piper. Did you give him your account in order for him to put money in your account to pay your rent?
Yes.
Now you're complaining.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
What did you send him the $750 for that you gave you?
He had been discharged. I don't know if it was honorably or dishonorably.
Well, if they discharge you, they usually bring you home first. Military doesn't say goodbye to you and leave you in Afghanistan.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Michael Whitaker Jr. says former friend Michelle Robb owes for a loan to pay rent.
Did you give him your account in order for him to put money in your account to pay your rent?
Yes.
Now you're complaining. You drive a car, Miss Rabb?
Yes.
What kind of car?
2003 Chevy Blazer.
Is it insured?
Yes.
Pay the insurance?
Yes.
Got to pay your rent. Would you kindly just show me exactly what you paid for her rent?
It's in there. There's a payment on the 6/18, one for $3,000 and one for $1,900. And there's also
For A&S Realty?
Yes.
I got it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,900. We're finished.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think she was fair. I think she saw through everything on the paperwork, what was really going on.
We had developed a genuine friendship.
And I'm very happy with the ruling.
A great human being, a very generous man. And then...
Someone who's a friend that's in that bad of a situation or anything like that.
I got laid off 4 different times in the year 2017 and was going through divorce.
To not step in and help out if you have the means.
It's chaos. I'm doing the best I can.
I mean, you look out for your friends.
That we can just throw up a deuce and go on our merry little ways.
I wish Michelle the best.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Knutson versus Schwager. Step forward.
Erin Knutson is suing her former friend, Amy Schwager, for a loan to bring her boyfriend back from Afghanistan.
Miss Schwager, you met somebody online, and what site you were on and what the person's name was.
I met a gentleman online on Plenty of Fish, and I've known him for over 2 years.
Where does he live?
He lives in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And where do you live?
Butterfield, Minnesota.
Had you ever met him personally?
We did video chat, and...
Had you ever met him personally?
No.
And how long have you been a friend of Miss Knutson?
I've known her for several years.
How many?
5, 6 years.
From where?
Butterfield, LaSalle, Minnesota.
I mean, did you know from work, socializing, did you have mutual friends? What kind of work?
Bartending.
Now, this guy that you met online and have been chatting with for 2 years, he traveled out of the country?
Yes, he did.
Where did he go?
He went overseas to Afghanistan, Nigeria.
For what?
Military.
So he's in the military, you think?
Yes.
You think he's in the military?
I think he's in the military.
And I'm assuming for the purposes of this case, not assuming that for the truth of what you're going to tell me, but only your motivation for asking for money from Miss Knutson. You did ask her for money.
I did.
And she did give you $750.
Correct.
And you sent her $750 and, according to you, $2,000 of your money to this person who you had met online who was in Afghanistan.
Rest later.
When?
Approximately 4 months later.
What did you send him the $750 for that she gave you?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What's that scam bird that people call you now? You know, I've been kidnapped in Afghanistan, and please send $10,000 to this number, or we're going to send home pieces of the finger. Only thing is, you believed it.
I did, because
you believed it because that's what you wanted to believe.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Erin Knutson is suing her former friend, Amy Schwager, for a loan to bring her boyfriend back from Afghanistan.
You sent her $750 and, according to you, $2,000 of your money to this person who you had met online who was in Afghanistan.
I had sent him $750 and the rest later.
The rest when?
Approximately 4 months later.
What did you send him the $750 for that she gave you?
He had been discharged.
I mean, he'd been kicked out of the Army.
He had been discharged. I don't know if it was honorably or dishonorably.
Well, if they discharge you, they usually bring you home first. They don't leave you in Afghanistan. They don't say goodbye and leave you in Afghanistan.
He had stated to me on an occasion that he was discharged, that they would not help him home.
This is some government. Get you in the Army, and then they send you thousands of miles away, and then they say, you know, get home on your own. Can you imagine how many volunteers we would have for the Army?
Right.
Okay, so this is what he told you, and you believed him.
I did.
Because you wanted to. Anyway, you took $750 from Miss Knutson. You asked her for it?
Yes.
And why didn't you give it back to her?
She knew clearly that...
Hey, don't tell me what she knew. Don't tell me what she knew.
We had talked about it. The reason I had asked her for $750 was she was going to be getting extra money for sending the money to Charles. He had stated that he was going to pay her double back. I have evidence. I have...
Listen, women sometimes want to believe, they want to believe so desperately the lies of a mate. This wasn't even a mate. This was somebody that you never even met. This was like, what's that scam bird that people call you now? You know, I've been kidnapped in Afghanistan, and they're holding me for ransom, and they're holding your grandchild for ransom. Please send 10,000 pieces of the finger, or I am here and I have no way to get home. This is just please send me money. Or you have inherited $100,000. All in order to collect the $100,000, all you have to do is wire $2,000 into this bank account, and then we'll be able to release the paperwork and send you the other $98,000. Only thing is, you believed it.
I did, because
you believed it because that's what you wanted to believe.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
What's that scam bird that people call you now? You know, I've been kidnapped in Afghanistan, and they're holding me for ransom, and please send $10,000 to this number, or we're going to send home pieces of the finger. Only thing is, you believed it.
I did, because
you believed it because that's what you wanted to believe. I mean, I'm listening to your story. I can't get home because I'm in the military, and now I'm no longer in the military, and they told me how to get home by myself. And you say to yourself, really? Really? You have to return the money to her. $750, judgment for the plaintiff.
Parties are excused. You step out.
Judge Judy, ex-Judge Judy.
I don't feel it's It was my responsibility to have to pay her back.
It's been going on for over a year, and she's refused to pay me back.
Because there was an agreement that...
She said on several occasions that she would and just never has.
He would directly pay her back.
So I had to take the next step.
He's been messaging me, and I ignore the messages.
I guess I would have been smarter in the situation.
Because I think he's a scammer.
I didn't realize that she never met him in person.
I honestly don't know. I would like to talk to her about the whole thing.
I mean, I'd like to maybe remain friends, but...
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
It's one of those things I don't know how it will go.
Her family venture really took off.
You have a business, the releasing of doves.
Until her cousin flew the coop.
She had requested to dissolve the relationship.
It's your claim that she has birds that belong to you.
Yes.
She mailed a certified letter to me stating that she wanted supplies and the birds returned.
We are now a year later. How many of the birds do you have?
I don't have any, Your Honor.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge...
Suing her cousin, Angelica Montgomery, for the value of 11 doves that were stolen while in her possession.
Order. All rise. It's case number 131 on the calendar, the matter of Delgado versus Montgomery.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Party's been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat, folks.
Ms. Delgado, you have a business, and this is my understanding of your business.
Yes.
There are people that enjoy, or by custom, have at certain events the releasing of doves.
Correct.
And you provide those doves,
yes,
which are trained to release and then come back after they flit around for a while, and then you put them back in boxes like this and take them home.
No. When they're released, they actually go to their homing location.
Okay, so that means that the location of the events must be relatively close.
Not necessarily. My birds have traveled up to 70 miles, and this particular type of bird can actually travel up to 550 miles in a day if they are trained accurately.
That's very interesting. That I didn't know. I've only been to one event where doves were released. It was an unfortunate event. I mean, not the event was a wedding that was very happy. Moved from the carton that they came in, which was something like this, into the elegant cage where they're supposed to be released.
Yeah.
The transfer did not go well. So I'm sort of familiar, but I didn't know that they could travel that far. In any event, you've been in this business for how long?
15 years. And in relation to what you just mentioned, there are competitors that do not take very well care of their birds. They don't train them as accurately as they should and keep them as healthy as they should.
Well,
and
these
they don't
birds
return.
I think these birds were relatively healthy before they got transferred from one box to another. Anyway, that's been your business. And you don't have partners in your business.
My son. And I actually have 4 people that do deliveries only for me, for us.
Miss Montgomery is a cousin of yours.
Yes.
And it is your claim in this lawsuit that she has some birds that belong to you.
Yes, birds.
That she wanted to start her own business.
No, that's not correct.
She wanted to go into business with you.
What happened is I introduced my business to her at a barbecue at her home with family.
And
I actually grew
just a
up
second.
with her mother.
I don't need a pedigree.
Okay.
Either she wanted to go into her own business or she wanted to become part of your business.
Yes.
Which is it?
She wanted to help service an area with my birds in her area.
Well, then she was an independent aide.
I told her I would pay her $50 for crating the birds. If she learned how to do the deliveries, which she was very eager to do, she would get paid an additional $50.
$50 for training or crating?
To crate the birds for a pickup for a service, and then $50 for the actual delivery. I typically pay $2 a bird. We have 2 locations, 2 lofts, one in Riverside and one in Paris. For outlying areas, I have a couple of businesses, and I've got documentation here if you'd like to see it. $2 a bird for other businesses.
So you have other people who,
yes.
You have other people who
Yes.
work for you as independent contractors. You
Yes.
don't pay workman's comp for them. You don't pay, they're not employees of yours. So she's an independent contractor.
No, she's employed through us because she's under our business. She's not independent.
Well, if she's under your business, do you pay taxes for her?
No, actually, she did not work long enough to be able to do anything.
No, Ms. Delgado.
I-99
Ms. Delgado, you 1099
Yes.
them? Did you 1099 her last year?
No, because she specifically asked me not to include any of her earnings. The reason she began working with me because she went through a divorce.
Ms. Delgado, you've been in business for a very long time.
Yes.
And I've been alive much longer than you have. And I'm a lawyer. So either she's an employee or then you committed a fraud. You don't want to commit a fraud. Do you understand?
Your Honor.
Ms. Delgado, this is not what it's about. But I don't want you to try to think where you're going with this. If she's not an employee, she's an independent contractor.
Well, the problem is if she was an independent contractor, she wouldn't be holding my birds. She would have her own.
No, now you're trying to, don't play with your papers. Now what you're trying to do is think 10 steps ahead. And where am I going with this? And what I'm telling you, if someone is working for you, if I have a house and I have a caretaker, the caretaker, if he's paid every week, is an employee who has workman's compensation.
You're right.
Who gets paid, who has taxes taken out. If you have an employee that doesn't work for you on a full-time, regular basis, I have a gardener who works for me through a company. They come every week, but they don't work for me. They're their own company. So they're an independent contractor, and they pay their own taxes because they're a company. Do you understand? You can't have a nothing and pay them money.
Okay.
Do you understand?
I understand you. I understood. I could hear you.
And you understood me the first time, too. So
Yeah.
she's not an employee. You said, I'll pay you so much per bird. Now, it's your claim that she has birds that belong to you.
Yes.
When did you get the birds?
I got the birds in July, Your Honor.
July of last year?
2017, yes.
When did you start releasing the birds for events?
The first event was about 2 weeks later. I had to train them.
Just a second. 2 weeks, you don't train them. First event was 2 weeks later?
Yes.
How much were you paid?
$50 for the delivery and $50 for the birds. It was for 4 birds.
Just a second. So you were paid $100 2 weeks later?
Yes, Your Honor.
When did you again work?
In August 2017.
And how much were you paid?
I was paid $100 again for 4 birds. It was $50 for delivery, $50 for the 4 birds.
And when again did you work?
Again in August.
And how much were you paid?
$100 for the 4 birds.
And when again did you work?
In September.
Did you do any after September of 2017?
Yes, I did in November 2000.
In November. How many?
2.
And what about December?
December, it was $100, but she kept that money because I purchased 2 crates from her.
And how many birds do you have altogether?
She gave me 9 birds initially. April 28th of 2018, I had 11 birds stolen, and...
Just a second. She gave you 9 birds originally that you started to work with within 2 weeks. We are now...
I don't have any, Your Honor. They were stolen on April 28th. 11 birds and 2 babies. I have a police report and pictures.
April 28th of this year?
Yes.
Yeah, I see the police report.
And I have pictures too, Your Honor.
God, thought I was going blind. I'm so glad. It was just dirty.
Your Honor, I also have photos.
When did you call her and let her know that the birds were stolen?
Immediately, as soon as my son told me that they were stolen.
April 28th?
Yes.
Was that the first time you told her that the birds were stolen?
The only time, yes.
Was that the first time that you had any issues with her with regard to returning the birds?
No. In February 27th, she mailed a certified letter to me stating that she wanted supplies and the birds returned, and I responded in March, but the letter was returned to me that she didn't accept it.
So in February, she said that she wanted the birds returned?
Yes.
I'd like to see that.
Do you want just her letter, Your Honor, or both?
I want both.
Your Honor, we actually discussed in text. She had requested to dissolve the relationship.
Just a second.
Because...
I'm not listening to you. I'm reading this. The letter of March, she didn't pick up.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No, that was returned back to me.
Okay, so she didn't receive this?
No.
So the last letter that you received was the one that said she wanted her birds back in February?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You can return these birds. Now I'm going to look at your text messages.
Okay, here are the text messages.
Just give them to me.
Okay.
Who's Luther?
Luther is a business out of Los Angeles.
Just a second. Would you return this to her? I don't care about
Rents
that.
my birds
Just
for
a second.
$2 a bird. Okay. That's a comparison that...
Okay, all right. I don't need any of this. None of this is from her. Is that correct? Just answer my question. None of these texts are from her.
No.
Would you return these to her, please?
I dropped my phone and lost all of my information. She probably has it if...
Your birds were stolen. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It's unfortunate that this has affected our family the way it has.
Because of the birds and what happened here today, it'll probably be a while before we get back together.
I think it'll mend itself.
I hope we can resolve this and move forward.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bowie versus Diop. Step forward.
25-year-old Akila Bowie Diop for the return of money she paid for a car or the cost to repair it.
Miss Bowie, you are an Uber driver for a living. Is that what you do?
Yes.
And you needed a car. The car that you were driving evidently wasn't working anymore. You knew the defendant. He buys and sells cars. You found a car that you were satisfied with, and you made a deal to buy it. So far as those the bare bones of this case?
Bare minimum.
Well, that's what it is. You found a car he was selling. You made a price. The price was?
For the car?
Yes.
$5,500.
And how much did you put down?
$1,500.
And he gave you the car?
Yes.
And you were supposed to make payments to him?
I did make payments.
And how many payments did you make?
3.
In what amounts?
100.
So you paid him an extra $300, $1,800. And while you had the use of this car, which was from when to when?
May 12th, 2018 until... I still have the car in possession, but I don't use the car because the car is it's the limit car. It doesn't work. The transmission is...
You took possession of the car on May 12th?
Yes.
And the car is still with you? Is the car still in your possession?
Yes, but I don't use the car.
I don't care whether you use it or not. It's still in your possession?
Yes.
And you want your money back?
Yes.
You don't get that.
Okay, so I met Mukhtar...
Listen to me.
Okay.
You have a contract? Do you have a contract?
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I was forced to sign that. We had a verbal agreement.
You don't have a verbal agreement when you have a signed contract.
No, that's...
Well, I'm telling you what the law is. I want to tell you what the law is.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Akila Bowie says car salesman Mukhtar Diop breached their contract regarding a car. Mukhtar is countersuing for the unpaid balance.
Okay, do you have a written contract with him? Is my question. Either yes or no. Can I see it? What year car is this, sir?
2012.
What kind of car?
Ford Fiesta.
I was forced to sign that. We had a verbal agreement.
You don't have a verbal agreement when you have a signed contract.
No, that's...
Well, I'm telling you what the law is. I want to tell you what the law is. When you have a signed contract, you don't have a verbal agreement. It states what the property is. It states what the sale price is. It states what the payments are. Do you understand? It states the entire terms of the contract. The seller notifies the being sold as is, without any warranty of any kind regarding the condition of the vehicle. That's what it says. That's your contract. That's the law.
I'm very aware of that.
Good.
But however, when I met Mr. Mukhtar Diop, which was in late January 2018, I knew he sold cars. I was desperately in need for a car for Uber.
Miss Bowie, I
got a car for him.
Listen to me.
I got a car.
I don't care. I don't care.
He totally was like very manipulative with the situation.
Good.
Like,
I don't care.
He like made the situation
I have other
seem
things.
like...
I have other things to do.
I understand, Judge. Can you just please hear me out? Is it possible if I can just let you know my story?
I'm telling you what. Listen to me. I'm telling you what the law is.
I need to like really let you know exactly what happened in the situation. It's like ridiculous. So the situation is, when I met him, I knew he sold. When I met him, he told me he sold cars. I really needed a car to drive Uber. The agreement was, if I pay him once I pay him for the car every week, that the repairs for the cars will be done. I wouldn't have to worry about anything.
Who gonna sell you?
No.
I wouldn't have to worry.
I'm giving her exactly 2 minutes, and then I'm saying goodbye to her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He knew that I was unemployed condition, so I could work and use the car. I was unable to pay because the car was not working.
Now I've heard enough, because I have other things to do today.
And later today,
Where's the title to the car?
I have to file for it and get it and request it through the mail.
You gave her $1,000 for the car?
Yes.
She has the car?
Yes, she does.
She doesn't know whether she's afoot or horseback. She has no clue.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Akila Bowie says car salesman Maktar Diop breached their contract regarding a car. Maktar is countersuing for the unpaid balance.
Go ahead.
I needed the car from him so I could work for Uber. He knew that I was unemployed. The only way he was going to get paid is if the car was in working condition so I could work and use the car to work for Uber so I can pay him. I was unable to pay because the car was not working. I left the car with him in the shop, and I came back, and it was even worse than it was when I brought it to him. I took it to AutoZone. The catalytic converter was shot, and that was a week after, 8 days later, after May 12th. On May 20th, the car was acting up already. I decided to go on with the situation because I was in desperate need of the car. Like, I have bills I have to pay, and also, like, I really needed the car. So we made an agreement, signed the paper that you are looking at, Judge. I started making the payments. I started calling him about everything that was wrong with the car, the engine, the transmission, the radiator, that still doesn't work. After they changed it.
Now I've heard enough, because I have other things to do today. Where is the car?
With her.
Good. Okay. Now you have a counterclaim, and your counterclaim is for the balance due on the car.
Yes.
Which is $3,700.
Yes.
Judgment for the defendant on the counterclaim for $3,700. We're done.
Are you serious?
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It got very weird and creeped out, and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Look at me. I'll deal with classy women, not that type.
Tried to make it seem like I had to give up something for him to repair the car.
I will not stop helping people, but I will choose who to help and who not.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cam versus Everhart. Step forward.
21-year-old Gabrielle Cam is suing her former friend, 22-year-old Jenna Everhart, for the return of money she paid for a car but wasn't able to register. Jenna is countersuing for damage to the vehicle and a car key.
Miss Cam, you've known the defendant for a long time. She had a car that she wasn't using. She offered to sell it to you because you needed a car to get back and forth to work.
Yes.
According to you, she sold you the car for $1,000.
Yes.
She told you you'd be getting the title.
Yes.
According to you, you never got the title, and it turns out that Miss Eberhardt had a loan still outstanding on the car in the amount of...
There's not a lien on it was for a couple months where it was financed, where I didn't have full coverage insurance.
How much, when you sold her the car and she took possession of it, how much was owed on the car?
About $400 or $500 still.
And you don't know how much? I mean, you knew you were coming to court today. That is a figure that you couldn't get.
No, because the balance is zero now. So I called. I've been calling, trying to get some information, and it said it's paid off. So they don't have a record of any balance anymore. I actually am not sure. I wasn't able to get any. I called the title company, the Alliance, where it was. They said that I don't know the balance on it.
Where is the car?
It's in front of my house.
Is what you're telling me the car's in front of your house and you have no idea who paid off the loan on the car? Is that what you're telling me?
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Is what you're telling me the car's in front of your house and you have no idea who paid off the loan on the car? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know if it got written off. I didn't know that there was still that amount left until I looked into it recently before Gabby, because I just recently, I was going to sell that one and get the two other ones that we had and get another car, but Gabby had wrecked her car.
Where is the title to your car?
Pioneer Federal Credit Union has the title to my car.
Why?
Because there was still a lien on it from previously, but then the balance is zero as of... I'm not sure when they...
Well, then where's the title to the car?
The company, I have to file for it and get it and request it through the mail.
You gave her $1,000 for the car?
Yes.
She has the car?
Yes, she does.
She doesn't know whether she's afoot or horseback. She has no clue. I don't know how she's taking care of a child.
I'm actually a really great mother, so you don't need to talk to me.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000, which is what you gave her.
Yes.
For the car. Goodbye. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy,